political.
This is a political show.
It's a political show. Welcome back, everybody. To Rachel Maddow tonight. We are back. We're joined in studio with Ben Avery, who's checking his phone.
I'm just checking my.
She
email.
runs this fucking show like a Nazi, dude. It's crazy.
Okay, I'll fall in line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
I gotta put this shit away.
Thanks for the Coke Zero, by the way.
Oh, of course.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, Ben, thank you for coming.
No, thank you for having me.
I
love both of you guys a lot.
Aw.
Ben's family.
You guys are
that's- Ben
family.
Ben is
Yeah.
family. Like it's so funny that and that's the reason it's been a year that we've done this and I haven't even had you on yet, because I'm like, it's not like one of those things where I'm like rushing to get back, because I it's gonna happen organically eventually anyway, and it has, it has.
I'm glad it's reciprocal that you guys feel like family, because that's how me and Katie feel.
I mean, Katie texted me that the other day, and I'm like, I almost shed a tear, but it's true. Like, we really are. Yeah, like you guys are like my LA family.
That
like,
Thanksgiving
for real.
was the best fucking Thanksgiving.
It was
I've had
so
in 4
nice.
years.
We
Yeah.
had the
good pot roast.
Yeah, great pot. Was that your recipe?
That was me.
The
That was
stuffing was the best thing in the fucking.
The stuffing
dude,
was
the green bean
great.
casserole. Fuck, don't get me started.
The Katie's pecan pie was like, dude, I was like a pig afterwards.
It was
I went into the
amazing.
kitchen while you guys were watching something, and I just started like going.
I
at
tried
the
sneaking you a
leftover.
piece.
You got so fucked up by the end of it, Ida.
I did.
Yeah.
What?
No,
Yeah,
did I?
Were you baked?
Yeah, you kept like crawling out the window to smoke weed. You were
I
like,
did do that,
and
yeah.
you kept sitting on the couch and smiling like the Grinch as we were watching Once
There
Upon
was
a Time in
Uncle
Hollywood.
Buck was on in the background. Because of the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I'll tell you why. It's because I was going and sneaking food.
Oh, you were.
Is your sneaky
I was
smile?
so high, and Katie's pecan pie is my favorite pie ever, unless no.
Well, you're a Texas gal.
banana
as
cream
well.
pie, banana cream pie too. But pecan
Damn.
pie is otherwise my favorite, and she made honestly one of the best ones I've ever had, and it was insanely good.
I think you even like said something on your mother's grave, essentially.
Dude,
'Cause you
so
were
my
like-
mom made the best pecan pie I ever had, and then Katie's pecan pie, which is her first time making a pecan pie.
that was her first time.
Yeah.
She might have
It was
told me
better.
that.
I think it's just it being a Southern belle.
Yeah.
It's like in her blood.
And also me knowing she's from Texas, like I'm like, she's gonna get it right, of course, but she hit it out of the park.
You know,
it was ridiculous.
Fucked up is I kept going back to get more pecan pie, and
And
I kept
I-
going back, and there was less pecan pie, and I was like, "Who's eating all the fucking pecan pie?" And now
And
I
then
know what's
Clay
happening.
fucking threw away like the last little piece, because I was trying not to be like a pig and eat the last little piece. So I like left it, but I was like, if no one's gonna eat,
Katie, the next
then
day, she's like,
Clay
is
threw
it, Katie, because she's so pregnant, she's like, there's more pecan pie, right? And I was like, no, it's all
I'm
gone.
sorry. Well, she
She's
shouldn't have
like,
left it all out. What did she think was gonna happen?
Well, I mean, she thought like, someone would open
It
the
was a
fridge and go,
hit.
well, the woman's pregnant.
Yeah, we'll leave her a slice.
They'll leave a slice for the pregnant woman who baked it.
Well, I figured the pregnant woman would have already taken, knowing she's pregnant. Like
She would have hidden a piece like
Yeah.
a squirrel.
It was so funny in the middle of the dinner. John goes, I love my mother to death, and she makes the best pecan pie I've ever had. And hers tastes like dog shit compared to this one.
It was honestly like, I don't know what your fucking wife did to it. It was crazy.
your fucking wife.
Your
What did your
fucking wife.
fucking wife do to
It was
dude?
it was wild.
It
I
was
think that
really,
was the
really
pecans were like chopped up more. It was nuts.
Also, your house just has like a really, really great ambiance to it.
Yeah.
John and I are really heavy on ambiance on the show. Do you know Nemo's Dreamscapes?
No.
So they're like our Will and Dawn.
Welcome to the fold, brother.
No. Actually, I'm gonna take that back. George Santos is like our Will and Dawn.
Big fat
They
gay
both
guy.
are. Yeah, big fat gay guy, who we love and respect, and actually has expressed 3 times that he wants to come on the show. But since he said that, I kind of dropped the ball because I had to go to New York, and I was like, I'm not going to spend all this money and fly to New York to interview George Santos while he was a sitting congressman. Although I should have, because now he's massive and famous. But yeah, we're gonna go. I'm gonna
try to do it. We're gonna try to do it in the month.
By the way, if you're listening to this, go. What he responded to last time, he hit me up 3 times or 2 times, like wanting to do the show, and it's because people hit him up. So hit him up and let him know, because he didn't respond to my last DM. So
I know almost nothing about that guy. He's just a strange
What?
shape.
you don't know anything about George Santos?
He looks like that. What are the fat frogs called? They're not the Pepes. They're the fat ones. The
Toads.
groiper. He looks like a groiper to
I
me.
have no idea what that is.
Oh, come on, John.
No.
You were like raised
I've
on
fallen
I
off
4chan.
thought a
Main
groiper
game,
was
dude.
like a derogatory term for.
Oh, the more like rudimentary Pepe.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah,
George Santos
the honkler Pepe. Yeah.
No, Honkler Pepe is a rainbow wig.
I know, but it's that same Pepe archetype, the big fat.
They're in the same family of Pepe, yeah, for sure. Same species in terms of dogma.
That
Yes.
etymology is really there.
But he looks.
I don't know this
He
Pepe.
looks like a guy.
What are
It's the
you
body
talking
type of
about?
a guy who worked really, really hard to be fat.
George Santos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really like is whalemaxing every day to even
Yeah.
be
Whalemaxing.
as overweight as he is.
No, he is. He has work ethic. Like he works really, really hard. So I really don't care if he's lied. I think he's truly an icon, and I think no one will remember any sitting congressman 20 years from now.
Yeah.
They will remember George Santos.
I think he's a good-looking big guy.
He's
low-key.
also good looking.
Yeah.
No, like
he's
legit.
a handsome big man.
Looks like he has a tiny cock though.
And as everyone
for sure.
knows,
yeah, very tiny cock and balls.
yeah, totally. Which is great. Which is great for a number of reasons.
Shanghaiing the podcast.
We're gonna go to him. We're gonna go to him in New York,
Of course,
hopefully in
yeah.
the coming weeks. And everyone knows I love fat gay men. That's my big
that's your forte.
between John and George
Mm-hmm.
and a myriad of other names.
So you want to get like titty fucked by George Santos?
no.
then you
If
stop-
that's what it takes, though,
Well, if that's your fetish, is you're like, I
Yeah.
want to fuck a big fat gay guy. who
no,
has a
I don't
tiny
want to fuck
dick.
them. I want them to like treat me like a Barbie doll or something.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
it's
You
like
want to
a-
be a fat gay congressman's fag hag.
correct.
Well,
Yeah,
you know how
exactly,
like you know it's a fetish for some guys to be like a little tiny guy that's like this big, and like a woman with huge tits just like puts them in their breasts and just carries them around.
That's
'cause
literally
she's
me.
a giant.
That's what I want.
yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Guys
did
like
you
I
just
want to
say
be
right
that.
now, John?
There's
Dude,
a
if a
fetish
woman
where
over
guys want to
6
be
feet
really
tall-
small. And
Yeah.
they're carried around by a woman.
Yeah,
And
step
I guess,
on me.
I guess they just like crawl in their pussy and just like hang out.
Let me sleep in your soft
Oh, is
drawer.
it like the dominatrix thing? They just want to be
Not so much
they just
that. It's
want-
just, I want a big lady.
Okay, so like Robert Crumb.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
this
yeah.
is
But
taking.
less
Oh,
of a
I know
hippie
exactly
fag.
who you're talking
no,
about
but this
now.
is a bigger.
I
This
get
goes
it.
beyond crumb.
Oh, does it?
We're talking about a guy who's 2 inches tall, and he's like, "Fuck, I wish that were
Okay,
me."
this is the kid in Willy Wonka gets like
Yeah, no,
shrunken.
like, people that have a shrink fetish where they're like, "I wish I was an inch tall," and there was a huge woman that just carried me around
Like
everywhere.
killed me. You know.
Yeah, or like stepped on me like a bug, or
Yeah.
Now, are these like how,
guys
like,
have bug fetishes on Wall Street too, by the way.
Yeah, they
Wall
want
Street.
Yeah, they
they want to be pissed on. They want wax dripped on them.
Well, a big thing is a woman, I'm assuming nude, will walk on high hills across big bags of crickets and other bugs, and they're just getting crunched beneath the red hills as like a guy on Wall Street just like jacking off.
That
like, on
started
the
in
couch.
Japan. There's
is it
no
because
way.
they're imagining
No.
that they're the bug?
I don't know.
It has to be it.
I think it's just gross.
I think
Otherwise, that's bestiality adjacent.
the thing
It
is
is.
that guys that are alphas in their everyday life they're always the reverse in the bedroom.
Right.
So
same with women, I think. Right.
Yeah,
on
for
some
sure.
level, yeah.
this is so your fetish where you're like I want a giant gay man.
No, it's not a real
To-
fetish. Hold on.
So you're like I want to be a chihuahua in a gay man's purse. And and a straight guy has a similar fetish where on the straight end of the guy spectrum, they want to be really tiny and a woman carries them around everywhere. Guys are just they're more creative, so they can think
Men have a lot of
beyond
time.
the limits of the human mind.
It's both I'm Paris Hilton and George Santos is my chihuahua proverbially like in my bag.
Oh,
But also
it's reversed.
But it's also it's an interchangeable. We can roll reverse.
You control him being a fag hag.
I want to be the one.
Yeah.
We can share the control. We can share the control.
Okay.
That's why it can
It's a
be
mutual
interchangeable. Yeah, if it wasn't George Santos, then no, I would want him in my purse permanently.
You're like
but
one of
because
those-
George has considerably more power than me, it would be ridiculous of me to insinuate I'm in the power dynamic.
Makes sense.
You know what I mean? Although that remains to be, that can be changed. All of that is subject to change because he's no longer a congressman, and in some ways maybe, won't ever have power again. But I think he
And
will.
You probably feel unsafe around men to a degree. So the idea of a George Santos, he's like, this giant plush toy you pulled out of a crane machine. Like you won him at Chuck E. Cheese, and
Yeah, I
you're just like
did.
obsessed with
He's
that.
the
You go, look at this
only-
little freak big doll that I won with his
the
huge legs.
It's the only time it's worked. It's the only time that crane maneuver has worked, and it's been through the
I mean, he
internet.
looks like a Thanksgiving turkey, for Christ's sake.
He does.
Very juicy, yeah.
But I love that about him.
Yeah.
I
He's got
love
big lips.
I love like a rotund, like a rotund little fat gay man. He's like my own little Pepe.
He's not little though, isn't he? Tall.
He looks kind of little, yeah.
Really?
He's portly.
I think his legs are so fat you think he's tall, but he's strange looking. He's like a VeggieTales character. And again, I know nothing about what he did. Because I haven't read the news in like a year. It's been the nicest.
Let's read it. Let's give Ben a rundown through the Wikipedia of George Santos because I think it is.
Is this
really,
what your listeners like?
I know
George Santos and stuff.
They
of
love him.
course,
Okay.
yeah. Well, who doesn't? Love
Our listeners are like very intelligent.
George
people.
loves me. Like I mean, not to be a narcissist here, but George and I are like we.
So
I
he's
really
a gay
think,
guy, right? So like,
Yeah.
Gay guys love.
so he's interested in your mind.
Yeah, he's really interested in my mind.
Well, they all want to be Ida. That's the thing.
They want to be a Persian
all
woman.
You know,
be
that's what
Ida.
Devin says.
Yeah.
On some level, I get it. But on
Yeah.
the other hand, I want to be them, so I don't totally understand.
It's a parasitic plus relationship.
It
You're
is,
like
it
the
is.
fish on the side of a shark.
But I want to be them less than because I don't want to be huge.
And as the male,
I don't wanna
male
be the whale.
ego, the male id loves that.
So my mic
Right?
just-
I think Campbell talks about this, how the women are born with envy and men are born filled with fear.
That's phenomenal.
And the reason is because men see women and they, on an unconscious level, think they were castrated. And because they don't have a penis.
yeah.
And that women envy men because they weren't castrated. And the men start to suspect that the women themselves are the castrators, which is why we have the motif of the toothed vagina in folklore.
I love that.
Wait, say the last part again.
There's a toothed vagina.
Right before tooth vagina. Who envies the castration?
So the women envy the men because they have penises and they weren't castrated, and the men fear the women because they perceive themselves as the castrators.
I see. Yeah.
And this is what you kind of have going on with George Santos, where you envy him. It's because since he's gay, you guys are both. It's envy on both levels because you are the anima, right?
Wow.
The feminine energy, the gay feminine energy, where it's just like complete schizophrenia and just like.
It's true.
He envies what you have naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like the.
Well, it's always a
nice
cocktail.
He
He
envies you and you envy him.
Yeah.
But
It's always a cocktail of things. You know what I mean? It can be one thing, but it's just a mixture.
Well, in
of all
my
these
experience,
things.
I've always been the one that's been on the receiving end of the gay man schizophrenia. So I don't know how I'm the schizophrenic in this scenario, but I'm willing to take that role on because I'm interested in it. Like I
well,
do.
the anima is the bridge. It's the female energy that a man experiences, and it's the bridge to the unconscious, is what Jung says.
Right.
So, in a way, George Santos is this bridge for you to discover things about your own self.
Interesting.
And that's why you're interested in him, because without him, you're
I think that's true.
incomplete in terms of having that bridge to cross over into the unknown world.
Absolutely.
So I think if you...
Yeah, that makes complete sense to me.
I think if you joined forces with George Santos, you might be the first female president of the United States.
Wow,
Miss
guys.
Tavakoli, sir.
Thank you. Can somebody play Hail to
be
the
a-
Chief right now, please?
It'd be a real Hitler Goebbels situation we'd have.
Oh my God! No, you know what,
Dude, they would
Ben?
be
I think Ben
unstoppable,
just
though.
tapped into
Insane.
something. Ben just tapped into something that I didn't really consciously know was real, but now it's been brought to the forefront of my attention, and I think you're really onto
You're
something.
like the missing piece. You're sort of looking to complete your psyche, and I think Santos is not the piece itself, but
Yeah.
the mechanism through which you could become whole.
He's the final solution.
He can't be a
he's the
congressman,
tool.
right? He can't be a congressman ever again, right?
No.
Okay, but he can be vice president.
You know what? This is the first time. Actually, no. This is the first time that a congressman has. This is the sixth time that a congressman has been
fucked a
ousted.
kid.
No, Ben, it's much more than six. Come on. No, this is the sixth time that a congressman has been ousted, but the first time, I believe, I could be wrong, where it's not been for they haven't been criminally charged with anything.
Did he fuck a kid?
He was just a liar.
No, he had to go. He got Botox with like campaign funds. It's awesome.
So he's a Mean
it
Girls
rocks.
congressman. He's
It
just a
rocks.
retard, yeah.
he's great, dude. I am so much more morally okay with his form of corruption than like the routine like bureaucratic corruption that we just like legally write into the law.
It really kicks ass.
He's so much cooler and better on every level. Like he's getting federally indicted for fucking credit card fraud. Like
Fine.
that's something
all
everyone
do
can
that.
relate to. It's not like it's or like
He's doing like insurance scams and stuff.
It's so low
He's
level.
doing like slip and fall scams in Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the people in
like
Congress
Better Call Saul shit.
could legitimately
Yeah.
like that's exactly what he is, and they don't like him because he's embarrassing for Congress. It's not because he's so immoral.
Yeah. He's an
it's
idiot.
like he's embarrassing.
Did you see that joke interviewer who like goes around and asks like these like detectives and stuff doing like post like murder interviews and like congressmen like these crazy questions, and he asked George Santos about the Halloween reboots, and George Santos responded to him in earnest.
Yes,
It was phenomenal.
That's why he rocks. He's kind of
amazing.
He's got a lot of like Trump allure to him.
Yeah.
And he's certainly influenced by Trump, but there's got to be an element of that that's really innate, because you don't just turn into a lying sitting Congress. Like he lied. He said his mom went up in the ash cloud in 9/11. I'm not joking. No, like that's like a quote out of his mouth.
That's so funny.
No, and there's not an iota of truth to it. Like his mom
Yeah.
died, but not in
Is
9/11.
he always speaking like metaphorically, like
No.
like he's Yoda
No.
in Star
No.
Wars?
Not at all. No. It's very matter of fact. It's very like it's straight to the point. No, he will make but that's why he is fantastic.
He
Like,
looks vaguely Native American though. I could see him just talking.
I'm sure
about,
he's claimed that at some point when it
Oh,
suits
fuck
him. Yeah. He also lies about things that don't in any. This is why he's fun. Is like they don't really benefit him to lie. Like it doesn't benefit him to lie
That's the
and say
best
he
way
was
to
a
lie.
professional volleyball player. Like that doesn't. That
I didn't
doesn't
know about
advance. That doesn't advance his career. But he did. He said he was a volleyball.
Can I
player.
see how fat he is?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it fluctuates, so you gotta. It's relative. But at this present moment, I mean, he's in the news. Like, dude, his avatar on Twitter is fantastic. It's all the cameras at him and sunglasses on his face. So this is his official congressional photo. This is this is when the cameras are chasing him everywhere. He's a star. George Santos is a star.
How old?
He's
23.
I don't know, in his 30s maybe, but early 30s, I imagine. 35. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
looks like shit. He looks like shit for
He looks
35.
He looks great. I think he looks great.
He's
I
on
mean,
uppers.
I might get really fat in like 10 years.
That's him in drag. They
Shut the fuck up. No.
Yeah, we saw this, John.
Did we?
I mean, do you have like
Did my long
memory?
coat
Do you have
really
memory
sucks.
loss? Like, we
Yes, dude.
literally.
That's
established.
That's disgusting.
I'm like literally retarded.
No, he's phenomenal. We should put on like a video of him real quick because he's
Just a Midwestern lady who gets into pyramid schemes.
Yeah.
Selling like Cutco knives.
Mary
and shit.
Kay.
He's so great. He God, just such a wide array of. He also, I think he said he worked for I don't know, some huge corporation. Was it Goldman Sachs? I'm not sure. Okay, no, Wikipedia has Wikipedia.
So, like, did he fuck a kid? Like, what?
No.
He's just
No.
embarrassing.
Why?
No.
No, he's not. I mean, not that I know of.
I mean, you
Again,
know nothing about him. Should we do like an intro
I-
for
Yeah,
Ben?
yeah.
I see things in the news and I don't learn what's going on,
Yeah.
and then I make up whatever I want to think happens.
Well, with Congress, it's not.
It's I'm writing
it's
like
not,
Yeah.
I'm writing my own fantasy as I see things.
It's not
Yeah.
I go,
unreasonable.
he fucked a kid.
Yeah. You're
He's a
filling
kid
in the
fucker.
blanks.
Yeah, to me
Yeah.
it's just Mad
Yeah,
Libs.
Well, it's not unreasonable to think that a congressman
Well,
fucked a kid.
To me, I'm just so out of it that I see news articles and it's like FBI redacted files, and then I just go
Yeah.
through the blank spaces in my head where I'm not paying attention, and I just fill in whatever I want.
Pedophile.
yeah,
Pedophile.
yeah, and that's the most useful way to do it creatively. I
Because
think, too.
to quote Training Day, he's like, "This is 95% bullshit.
Yeah.
It's entertaining.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So I want to be like the writer of the. You know, you're already reading fake stuff. You might as well make it more entertaining.
yeah, no, absolutely.
And then, use that information to inform you about the world, and then base your, decisions off of that, and still be a voter. God damn it!
100%.
You're goddamn right.
Are you gonna vote, Ben?
No.
You're not gonna vote.
Jace would do voter fraud for me. I don't know if I should publicly admit that, but
Do
I
it.
would- Yeah,
It's
it's a
comedy.
joke.
it's a
joke.
comedians.
hypothetical. It's a hypothetical.
But it's not a joke. He would do voter fraud for me. And vote
What do you
for,
mean
Because
he
Jace is
would
into
do?
voting. Well, Jace is like a cuck and like a
Jace votes.
He's like a libtard cuck.
That sucks.
Oh yeah, I know he falls into that at times.
He cares and stuff, and that's,
Yeah. He's not
Yeah.
jaded and nihilistic.
Well,
He hasn't
what do you
given
mean
up.
by
Yeah.
cares? What do you mean by? Can you
He-
unpack that a little bit? What do we mean by cares?
I don't know. He doesn't feel totally hopeless, and he feels some sort of duty. Because it's very easy to say like it's all bullshit. right? Like that's the easy
Of course,
response.
it's a cop out. Totally,
It is, and like I don't care.
right.
So I don't even care to say it's all bullshit.
Yeah.
I just do. I actually, there's some people that are like that, by the way, when it comes to like God. And I didn't realize that growing up Christian, where people go like, do you believe in God? And someone goes, I don't really care. And you go, you don't think about it? I think about it all the time. And they go, no, I actually don't think about it. And it doesn't occur to me to think about. And I'm like, oh man. And that's kind of how I feel about
And they
politics
label
at
those
this
people
point.
as agnostic, and that's just like whatever.
Yeah. Well, it's not productive. It's not productive to sit there and like navel gaze and try to do this like this over introspection where it's like you're not really gonna land on anything new.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows why the fuck we're here. You can sit there and like contemplate God all day long, but
I guess
there's a I don't know.
You can come
every
across
once
some
in a while,
interesting
it's fine.
ideas.
Of course, like, but it's great to do, you know, as a personal experience, or if you want to like transcend some, astral plane or whatever, like fine. But like, you're not gonna sitting there and trying to think about God all day long. Some people do that. Some people are like overtly spiritual in a way where it doesn't actually even seem like spirituality. It just seems like an extension of narcissism. Where I'm like, okay,
it's like
you're not going to
therapy or
land on anything
else.
new. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it's just like, at what point does the narcissism begin and the morality start, or like where does that become part of the through line?
Yeah, I think in terms of the American excess of like, everything has to be taken to an extreme. Like you can't just be a guy who goes to the gym. You have to be like Jocko Willink.
yeah.
And you also can't be a guy who like if you're a Christian, you have to be like no one should have sex. Like I guess the saying is take an aspirin, don't take the whole fucking bottle.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when it comes to
moderation.
anything, it's like, hey man, just like small doses of it. Like,
For
hey,
sure.
religion and God and stuff is good, but like not everything has to be like an identity.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And like Kierkegaard has this really good quote where he says the opposite of sin is not virtue but faith. And like I keep that, like I'm like, okay, so if you're like a Christian, like you could be the worst guy on planet Earth, but if you just believe in a God, then that counts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as the Leuven brothers once said, my God is real.
Dude, they kick ass.
Yeah, they're really good.
They were the best guys.
Satan is real.
You know that guy used to
Working in
he like choked his
spirit.
wife with a telephone cord?
Oh, they were crazy as shit.
Dude.
It was Cormac McCarthy's favorite artist. He
That
listened to
makes
Leuven brothers all the time, and they sung about the atomic bomb.
Why
which,
are they called the Leuven brothers? Is
That was their
based on
their
the-
last name? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Leuven's a town in Belgium. I thought maybe they were from, maybe they were like the Belgian.
They had perfect harmony, and they learned how to sing from sacred harp music. And
Okay,
they, like,
And they would just sing about like Satan and like how the atomic bombs
Yeah.
gonna kill everybody.
Oh,
and
not.
stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You
Meanwhile-
sounded like a public access TV character when you did their.
It was just Appalachia
that's,
bullshit.
Yeah, that's why I
yeah.
thought public access TV. Is
No, their
hard.
stuff is very creepy and
Really?
It's Satan
morbid.
is Real is a scary fucking song.
Yeah, it's very scary.
And one of them,
an old guy comes up and he's like, Satan is real. I know because I once had a happy home and it is no longer happy. And this guy, he lost everything in his life and he's just yelling at the preacher in the song about how like Satan is real and if you let him into your home, he's going to kill you and take everybody.
the one guy choked
He's right.
his wife.
It's a
with
very Gnostic idea, by the way.
It is.
If we want to get into Gnostic Christianity, we won't get into Gnostic Christianity.
We're gonna get deep into Christianity.
What sect of Christianity do you subscribe to then, if any?
Gnosticism. I've read the Nag Hammadi.
Okay.
And there's all these texts that were burned when Christianity first was forming. There were all these sects of Christianity of people called the Gnostic Christians, and there were the Scythians and the Valentinians and a couple other ones. And Constantine in the year 300 AD decided what the Bible should be, and they started killing all these other guys that were carrying around these sacred texts. And they carried them in secret. And John, stop me when I'm wrong because you're the historian. And they burned.
You know more than
they
I do.
burned close to like 60 or 70 books that didn't make it in the Bible that were basically just the teachings of Jesus. And some of these were translated into Coptic because a lot of Egyptians liked them, and they were buried with some of these guys because they were so important to them. So when we exhumed bodies in like the 1950s, there were all these things in Coptic, and we were trying to figure out what they were. They actually sent them to Carl Jung.
It's a Book of Elijah and shit, right?
Book of Thomas.
Yeah. The Book of Thomas is wild as shit.
It's great.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in a second. But Carl Jung translated all of the texts because he taught himself Coptic, and they were get these to Carl. So I think he translated
he's
the
the
Book
Zodiac
of Thomas
killer.
and stuff. Because he was just like back then. You like to be an intellectual. Like you didn't just like go on podcasts. Like you actually had to. You actually had to speak 11 languages. You couldn't just have points of contention about like robots and AI.
Yeah,
and what all these like dumb motherfuckers do. Like you had to be like James Joyce. You had to be like, no, I speak 13 languages. I'm a genius and I'm crazy. Yeah. So all of the books were translated, and we have something like 20 to 25 books, and it's a complete. It almost inverts Christianity totally, because
so
it says
satanic?
that kind of. It's
okay.
A lot of people see it that way.
So they see the Bible as the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve were actually freed from it, and that the serpent that came to Eve was not in fact the devil, but was God. And that
tracks.
This world was created by a demiurge. His name is Yaldabaoth. Now, this is if you're like a Scythian and stuff. But here's the gist of it. The gist of Gnostic Christianity says we live in the matrix and we have to break free from it.
Okay.
This is where these concepts come from. So early Christianity...
What kind of not a technological matrix, certainly, no.
No, that there's this guy who was evil who created this world and trapped our spirits within these bodies. And it's up to us to transcend to a higher level of consciousness so we can break free from the flesh.
This is proto simulation theory.
Yeah. And so this is...
But it's prior to any sort of technological...
these texts were all written 2000... Like, these are the teachings of Christ, supposedly.
Yeah.
So when you read these things, like there's the book of Mary... who's in it, Jesus is walking with Mary and is telling her that there is no such thing as gender, there's no such thing as flesh, there's no such thing as man and woman. And in these texts, what's very interesting, it's obviously
there's no such thing as man or woman.
There's no such thing as Jesus says. There's no such thing as the flesh because none of this is real. There's only consciousness.
Okay.
And he says that everybody could become like him. He says if you transcend the flesh, you too can become like Christ. So Christ's whole point is not to follow him, but to become like him. And everybody's life mission should be to that Jesus doesn't trust in any institution or church.
Yeah.
Because any institution or church exists within the demiurge. So an institution would have to be total consciousness to be trustworthy at all. So the early sects of Christianity, they didn't have a church. No. They didn't have a group of people. All they had were these texts of Christ talking about how to live with peace and love. It's actually it's closer to like an Eastern idea.
It sounds like a Rajneesh on some level.
He was a cult leader in Palestine.
That's kind of what this sounds like. And I say that with the utmost respect.
All these people were killed.
Yeah.
I mean, like
all of them were killed.
It's
the text's gonna survive. A lot of the scraps when you read the Nag Hammadi, there's things bleeped out because they're just missing. We just don't have them.
So what we know is the Bible.
Are people filling in those blanks, so to speak? Like
people are
a little bit.
Them,
yeah.
What we know is the Bible today is what is considered canon by the Pope of Rome.
Right.
So like the Pope, and not this current Pope, but popes previous, decided this is what we read.
Right.
For Christian dogma.
Yeah.
Or Catholic dogma, or whatever you want to call it. Including like Eastern.
But that's Catholicism. But that's Catholicism. That's Catholicism. So how does it?
The Nag Hammadi,
Eastern Orthodox and then Catholicism.
The Nag Hammadi sort of fills in the blanks though, because the Bible we have, Christ, we see but like a shadow of his life. We see him as a baby, and then all of a sudden he's 33, and they're nailing him to. They're forming a crucifix.
Sounds like John. We see him as a baby, then suddenly he's 33, and people are nailing him to the cross on the Reddit
every day.
And by the way,
big, giant baby.
Some of the Nag Hammadi is kind of insane. A lot of it really is Jesus saying like, and here's another parable, and here's another parable, and here's another way of life, and here's another thing you should do. And he speaks very like cryptically and very strangely.
Now,
do you think the early apostles getting killed makes a lot more sense if they were preaching Gnostic?
Yeah,
See,
for sure.
It does. I never even thought of that because I was looking up recently, like like Peter and Paul, like their fucking the way they move, and I mean,
they kept pretty much all the books where Jesus is like walking on water and like flying and stuff.
Yeah.
They were like Marvel guys, and they were like, we got to kill all this stuff where it's just him talking. That stuff sucks.
You got to keep that stuff for the kids. You got to keep the walking
excites
on the water.
the children. We know nothing about Jesus as like a teenager.
No, all we know is his quote unquote miracles, like water into wine and this, that, and the other, and then him dying. Yeah. That's all. And then the rest of the stuff was like him literally walking to the woods, and he's like, there is no flesh, there is no body. You can all become like me. You can all elevate, go to a higher plane. He has like great parables in it too. He has this one that's so funny.
What?
Because like I'm reading the Nag Hammadi and I started like bursting out laughing one day because some of the parables read like a Norm Macdonald joke. Because it'll say like Jesus said, "Did I ever tell you the one about the rich man?" And then they go no, and he goes, "Well, there was a rich man." And he said, "I will save all of my money and all of my assets, and I will hoard them. So, in the future, I will be financially well off." And that night, he died. And that's the whole parable, and it comes out of nowhere. It's so quick.
Norm was a prophet.
It's also brilliant the way
really
Jesus is
smart,
saying it in the Nag Hammadi. He goes, "You know what happened that night? He died."
That's a great Norm impression, actually.
Thank you.
It's not bad, yeah.
I can't watch
Norm
Norm
is a
'cause I'll
prophet.
slip
Norm is a
into
prophet,
more
and he was
Louis.
a Christian.
Norm was a Christian as well.
Yeah.
He was very close with Billy Joe Shaver, and that's the thing. Like people don't understand when I say I'm Christian, or like when Norm said he was
Do you
Christian.
say you're Christian? I've never asked you. I've never even had this. It's actually news to me that you have any religion at all.
So I think you're affected by your environment, and there's some things you can't get rid of, and I feel more at peace. And there's something within me that I am severed from myself if I deny Christ and I deny God.
I don't judge you for that. That makes actually a lot of sense.
And a lot of my theories are backed up by Nag Hammadi, and I always had secret theories where I said it feels like in the Old Testament this isn't God, but Satan is visiting the Israelites.
Yeah.
And if you believe in you go, oh my God, I'm kind of onto something here. This is because why is God coming to the Israelites and telling them to kill people? And then in the New Testament, Jesus is like, "Hey, don't throw rocks at that lady. Don't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
Live in peace." And you go, that seems like the devil over here. Is he telling them to go to war, telling them to kill everybody, telling them to like sacrifice their kids, telling them to do crazy shit? And it's just war and bloodshed. It seems like two different guys.
Well, didn't Jesus in the, I don't know if it's the Nag Hammadi, but like there's a story of Jesus like sicking a bear on like two children that were being like rowdy.
I'm not sure.
That was crazy, and like which
a lot
is
of
funny as fuck.
Nag Hammadi's
Imagine
insane.
controlling a bear.
I know.
But there's
How do you spell what's the etymology of Nag Hammadi? I mean, that doesn't hardly
gotta be fucking like. Fuck.
The Nag Hammadi, I believe it's just Egyptian because all these texts were in Coptic. They were in I
Coptic
guess
Christians kick ass.
I guess Jesus spoke in Aramaic. It was in Greek when people were walking around with it, and then that was translated into Coptic, and then the Coptic was translated by Carl Jung into English.
Dude, Jesus was Persian.
Jesus was
legit.
Jesus was basically was the descendant of ancient Canaanites. He was
an
the
Iranian.
direct descendant of King David.
Thank God the Egyptians loved. And these texts were very secret that they carried around. It was and the fact that they buried them with some of these guys who were very important.
It means
these texts were like, oh my God.
Where did they bury them?
Oh, I don't know, just Egypt somewhere where they exhumed.
I was gonna say, have they been blown to bits lately? Have they been completely obliterated in the last few weeks?
Well, it's
if they're in Egypt, it's fine for now. For now.
I kind of feel that way that you feel about like being I was raised Catholic, and then my parents pulled me out of the church when like fucking all the molestations and shit happened. They were like, "We're done with this." But like, there's.
You mean when they were exposed?
When they're exposed.
Like the Catholic Church just started molesting people.
Exactly.
For the first
the
time.
second they started molesting people, I was out of there. But they oh dude, I could tell you fucking stories. But
were you molested?
No.
Sean.
No. Dude,
You
there was
were,
a guy.
weren't you?
Dude, let me tell you about this. I don't think I ever told this about the pod, but the
John's molestation corner.
The one of the deans at my Catholic high school, dude. One of the deans at my Catholic high school would do this fucking thing. So I started hearing like through friends who graduated, like, yeah, I went to go play fucking racquetball with what's his face, like, and he called me up and invited me to the YMCA, and I was like, and in my head, I was like 18, 19. I was like, that's fucking weird. And then every one of them had the same fucking story was after they played racquetball, they hit the showers together.
Oh.
Right? And they both got naked, and they're like, that was kind of bizarre. So there was a guy who went to my Catholic high school, and he was like one of the deans that basically would be like, hey, we're going to play racquetball together, and then we're going to go hit the showers. I'm going to see you naked. And like my buddy saw no problem with that. Like, guys will be guys. We're hanging out. And I was like, dude, at one point he's going to fuck one of those kids.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. He's
Were you
hoping one of them
jealous?
is gay. Absolutely, yes.
Did you have FOMO?
Because at first, I
You had
guess I had
FOMO?
FOMO. At first, I was like, dude, he's only inviting out. They made it seem like he only invited like the best students to play racquetball with him. But I had a buddy who was a fucking idiot, who was just 6 feet tall, like 6'3", and like good looking, who was a fucking moron in high school, who he invited out to play fucking racquetball. And I was like, no, this dude's seeing these fucking kids enter fucking high
He
school.
invited a 6'3" kid.
I mean, he was like 19. Like,
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
but-
you know. But like, they're fucking kids. But like, he spots you when you're 14. He waits 4 years. He's a smart pedophile. He waits till you're of age, and then he sees you naked and hopes in the showers you'll fuck him.
But what's the success rate on something like this?
No idea, but I'm sure he's had one or two. This guy's married.
How'd you find out
They
about
do the
this?
pickup artist thing.
Yeah,
It's
they-
like they try to fuck 100 kids and they only fuck one.
Yeah, they cast a wide net.
Yeah.
But
We are fishers of men. Literal fishers of men. We
But that was
cast
the
nets
thing.
over the children.
Real.
I had a bunch of Franciscan friars around me, so like I never got a weird vibe from any of them. Like one of the fucking friars was like a Vietnam.
Franciscan friars.
Me and Devin went to high school with monks. Like they wore like brown robes.
What are you
and shit.
talking about,
Yes,
dude?
dude.
What are you even saying? You went to high school with monks. You
Yes.
went to a Christian.
A Catholic high school. We'd walk around and there'd be a guy in a brown robe with a rope around.
You
his
know,
waist.
Padre Pio,
yeah.
Shia LaBeouf is playing like some dumbass.
A Franciscan.
They do that where they wear the.
He was the
it
third
looks like
guy to
Robin
get
Hood.
stigmata.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah. Just like Robin
there's
Hood,
there's a denomination of Christianity where they LARP as monks.
There's a Catholic priesthood called Franciscans.
Oh, I know actually about this. No.
Yes.
I actually there's a
Yeah,
guy.
Shia LaBeouf's playing a guy.
There's a guy
that
in
was a famous
Arizona
dude.
named Thomas Keating who's a Catholic monk. Now I remember. I didn't
Yeah.
get the Shia LaBeouf reference, but
I spent 4
should
years
watch
around
that.
Yeah,
that.
Shia
fucking
LaBeouf
monk.
converted to
I'm a big Shia fan.
Catholicism to do the film.
Yeah.
Did he?
It's called Padre Pio. Yeah.
love
He
him.
thinks he's like Catholic now.
He went to
He's
one
so-
Latin mass and he like jizzed, and now he's a fucking Franciscan. But yeah, no, we grew up around fucking Franciscan monks. Basically.
That's great.
have
Imagine getting
herpes?
molested by a Franciscan monk. That's amazing.
That's the cool thing is Franciscan monks
they
are
don't
like
fuck. Yeah.
they're like the special forces of Catholics.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like they're the ones who. But I was kind of
They're
disappointed.
the
in
Texas
them.
Rangers of Catholics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're the ones
they're
who
enlightening you.
they take vows of poverty. They don't own anything.
and
They,
they're all
like-
and their parents are all loaded.
no.
their parents all have
no,
money.
dude. All of them are like fucking.
All these like sacrificial, like, I'm gonna live on the streets. I'm like, you find out that their parents are Bill Gates.
They were like refugees. Fucking one of them. The coolest one actually had a fucking daughter, which he didn't convert to the priesthood till he was like in his mid 40s, and he was a Vietnam vet, and he kicked ass.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of them are like refugees. They grew up like really hard. They take vows of poverty. They kind of like they're supposed to be living on the street low key, but they have like Honda Civics the church gives to them, and they just, dude. One time I went into their fucking quarters. They had like a priest's quarter where they lived. They lived at the fucking high school. Like,
What?
yes, dude. They lived at the high school.
It's like the holdovers.
Yes, dude. They lived at the high school, and like one time, my buddy went to their quarters and like opened the fucking fridge they had. It was full of whiskey. They just get fucked up all day and
Well, then
smoke
what's
tobacco.
what's the monkhood about? Like, what is that supposed to?
They aren't supposed
isn't-
to own any clothes. They're just
But
supposed
they
to
can
wear the
drink
robe.
and they can like.
Fuck yeah, dude. They get fucked up.
Monks can drink.
Yeah, they can't fuck.
you
So
ever
if you're a
see-
man, you're just gonna get fucked up all day.
That's
You ever
right.
see Tibetan monks like at the airport on their phones and stuff?
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
It's so
very
crazy. They
weird.
travel like in packs and they're completely silent. They don't say a word, but they're all on like they're just addicted to their phones.
I always
They're on
wonder-
like the monks are on like TikTok at the gate, like at the airport.
I always
gate.
wonder if that's just a guy who dresses like that to fly.
That's not
Where
a
he's
bad
like, it's just
point.
really comfy.
That's not a bad theory, but there's several of them. So they're in some sort of cult.
Oh no, and who knows why they're flying? I'm like, where are you going?
But I saw one of them like showed the
He's
the
like, oh, I
guy
just wanted to
next
see Seattle. or
Oh,
whatever.
they're probably they're probably going to Epstein's Island. I have no idea.
I don't
But
get
they'll
them flying
show-
because they can astral project and stuff, like in their head. Why are they getting like on a Delta
Well,
flight?
that explains the Tic Tacs, doesn't it?
Well, they like
what Tic Tacs?
The ones in the
UF.
sky. They're all Tibetan monks on like United 91.
they if
And then they're all
anyone
causing like blips in the,
if you're Buddhist and like a family member dies, you're supposed to be like a monk for a year. So like everyone's supposed to be a monk. Like,
What?
I had a buddy who went to a Buddhist monastery in Thailand, and like he heard this monk be like, psst, and like he went over there, and the monk just like showed him his cock real quick, and then the guy was like, "What the fuck?" And then like went over and was like, "Hey, like this guy just flashed me over there. And all the other monks at the monastery were like, oh, yeah, his uncle died. He's only been a monk for like 2 months. He's going to be out of here in a couple months. He's just gay.
That's right. I remember this. Well, this is because the Dalai Lama is a pedophile, right? Isn't that all but confirmed?
Yeah.
Isn't that all but confirmed? I mean, he did full tongue on camera.
I mean, that was gross.
It was horrific. You don't remember this?
I haven't read the Tibetan Book of the Dead, so I don't know if it says you can fuck kids in that.
Probably.
All I know is that it's like they think like life is death essentially, and death is the release from life, and then you can make all the right moves in death, so you don't come back to this planet.
Well, how convenient!
Buddhism,
how convenient! You can do all the important stuff once you die.
I think that's what it is. They have like no fear in this life because they go, no, this is death. You only get to live if you die. So, and then once you die, you have to make all the right moves so you don't come back to this shithole.
Well, that's enlightenment, which is derived from samsara in Hinduism, I believe, is what you're describing.
I don't know. I really want to read the Tibetan Book of the Dead. It would be interesting.
I read like a summary of it in my religions class when I was like in college, but I didn't. I know that basically because this is Buddhism, right? This is believe.
Well, there's like Tibetan, and then there's just Buddhism, and there's
I remember
there's Confucianism and Taoism and fucking Shintoism.
Well, I remember Buddhism being broken up into 2 different sects. There's Theravada, and then there's Mahayana. And this all is a version of Hinduism. Hinduism's the oldest religion in the world, so it's all basically coming from Hinduism. But
no one even cares about Hinduism.
Hinduism's so
it's
fucking
so dead.
crazy.
It's so dead. Well, because they
not the
fucked
big
up.
3.
They fucked up with the caste system, and so everybody wrote them off because of the caste system. So they created like an edgy version of Hinduism, which is like goth girl Hinduism, which is Buddhism. And so Buddhism,
I thought Buddhism was old as shit.
I think Hinduism is older than Buddhism.
Buddhism is way new. Buddhism is like Islam. Islam
is
in terms
the youngest,
of Abrahamic religions.
Islam's the youngest one.
Huh?
Chinese people just look so old.
So Buddhism is the youngest.
Chinese people look so old. You think it's the most ancient religion.
One China.
Did you see Werner Herzog's Wheel of Time?
Oh fuck.
Where
pull it up? What is it?
Well, what's interesting about it is free on YouTube.
Okay.
What's interesting about the documentary is they all travel to this place where the Bodhi tree is.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck. They actually know where the tree is.
That's a bookstore in WeHo too.
Yeah.
The Bodhi tree.
Yeah, they go to Los Feliz.
Yes. They go to their grove.
People will travel 3,500 miles or something to see this mandala.
Oh.
Or a mandala. Excuse me, I'm retarded.
It's a mandala.
Oh, you can say mandala too.
I think it's the correct way to say it.
Which is basically when you close your eyes, you can see this thing that forms the whole psyche. You know, and the monks they come around and they make it with this colored sand.
And then
they spend weeks making it, and people are sitting there and praying, and everybody's traveling.
They're beautiful. They're
Let's
stunning.
do that.
Oh yeah, could you pull up what one of those look like? And it takes them forever. They make it with colored sand, and then they blow it away.
I was watching have you seen House of Cards? They do it in House of Cards, and it's like a big it's a big motif in one of the episodes is the mandala. Yeah.
Okay, so people will travel to this thing. They stand up, and then they lay down head to toe. And then they stand up again, and they go to where their head was, and then they get down again. And by the time takes some people 4 years, they do it over mountains. They do it on these trails. It takes them 4 years to travel these 3,500 miles, laying down end over end all the way to this wheel.
Yeah,
because that's how devout they are. They get there, they have scars across their forehead from laying down.
Jesus fucking Christ.
They're so devout and they believe in this. Yeah, this is them making it. I think.
Oh, they do like
I think this is in. Is this Werner Herzog's? Maybe.
No,
maybe
I think it's
so. They have this thing. They rub the little chopsticks like that, and the sand comes out.
It's insanely time consuming.
Dude, it takes them forever.
It's a huge to do, and then they wipe it all away.
So you should see this when you're meditating. You should see this mandala. And everything.
I see it in my nightmares.
It's
all
forming
the
whole psyche.
This looks like
basically.
fractals, like if you did DMT or some shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, all the monks are probably on LSD. They're all probably like into Timothy Leary or something. I mean,
they're all on like Ozempic and shit.
Yeah, they're all MK Ultra.
They're on tea.
They're listening to We Might Be Drunk. Yeah, they're all on tea, probably.
So, I mean, they do this forever, and then people come up to it. And
how is this different than Cake Wars or whatever, where you make a cake and then someone eats it?
Well,
Yeah, they seem bored, honestly.
It's like I see these cooking shows where I'm like they like gastronomy and I'm like, oh, it's a big art installation and someone eats it and shits it out. How is that any?
It's funny, by the way, because like if American was watching this, they would be like, "Oh, are you watching? Is it cake?"
It's like Nick
They think the mandala is it. They're
like,
like, "It's not a cake. It looked like sand."
And is this in where
it's
is
the British
this?
baking show. They're
Like,
making law.
like
I don't know
Burma?
what they're doing. I think this is just in some guy's house in Beverly Hills. They're doing
Yeah,
this.
probably,
This
dude.
Maria
That's a
Abramovich is in the background.
Yeah, and these guys are Mexican.
They ordered.
They're like Filipino Mexican. This guy, they found him at a local Jollibee.
He
And they go,
does-
"Do you want to make $9 an hour instead of $7?"
He does this some
He's
nights,
making it out of spaghetti.
and then he does hibachi other nights. Some nights it's the mandala night.
And then look, then now he's ruining it. Like
Now
this.
he's ruining it.
He's doing it in a fancy way, though. I don't buy
it's
that he's ruining
it's so
it.
dark to show this to
Well, yeah, it
children.
looks beautiful too.
Yeah, it's
Can,
nice.
can you show them laying head over toe, Ida? Like how
What?
they travel?
That sounds demonic.
Here, I'll
Like,
can I tell-
yeah,
I'll tell-
you do it. I don't even trust myself to type in what you just said. I just
Children laying head over toe.
I type in X video.
yeah.
This is the yeah. Here it is. It's free.
Oh, is this the Werner Herzog?
Yeah. So I'll show you with them.
He's like the savages. They walk head to toe. And to look at those fancy sand sculptures.
I wonder if I can find them. Oh, here we go. Here's them traveling. So these people are just like pagans or whatever.
So they're not by
They don't do this anymore, do they?
No, they still do. This
Really?
was shot in, I don't know, like 2002 or something.
Oh, fuck.
Look, this is how they travel 3,500 miles to get to this wheel.
Okay, that's I mean,
Look, they're doing it through the mountains and shit.
These guys are buying bathwater from OnlyFans models.
yeah, they're
This is how much they, and this is a lost thing with, so this is what Carl Jung said was one of the things about Christianity that its shortcoming is that it discards every religion that came before it. And that's where it really fails.
Yeah.
does it discard it? I mean, it's
It does. Yeah.
It does.
It
Yeah.
completely
100%.
disregards.
Christians disregard everything that came before it.
The
They don't
first-
incorporate any other like cultural thing.
You know
or
what? I'm going
anything.
to argue against that. They
The Old
incorporated the
Testament?
Greek philosophers.
Okay, but that's not a religion.
I know. Well,
Didn't they have
You're
to
like, they fuck
incorporate?
kids.
they fuck it. Well, there was like a time where they were like, how do we make Plato go to heaven? So like,
Well, don't they have to incorporate the Old Testament just by the nature of the
I can
religion?
fucking argue Stoicism's a fucking religion.
I mean, the whole thing is based off of the Old Testament. Am I wrong? I mean, I don't understand. I went to church, by the way, growing up, and they have no understanding of any.
Yeah,
of it.
like they read the Old Testament and stuff, but they go, yeah, but Jews are going to hell. And none of that
Yeah.
really matters.
I see.
We just hate gay people.
that's the
Okay.
one defense for the Old Testament. As Jesus said in Leviticus, he's not here to erase previous scripture. And like that's the one time like Catholics are like, okay, Old Testament kicks ass.
Yeah.
Gays need to be stoned.
They cherry pick. They go in Leviticus. It says you should not lie, which I've never read. Says you should not lie with another man. So therefore, we do use that verse, but
Right.
there's also other Jewish texts that Christians don't give a shit about at all.
Oh no, you got it right. Yeah,
What's
Leviticus
the
was Old
Talmud?
Testament.
I know I had to learn about the Talmud in my in my world religions class. Isn't that like?
Sounds like some Jew shit.
Isn't that the old?
Yeah, I mean, how am I supposed to know what it is? Because I've been over to people's houses during Shabbat, and they just go. And I go, I'm like,
God,
speak
I-
English.
I dated a Jewish woman in Atlanta. And they
Stop
had
reading
the,
these chicken scratches.
the meat and the fucking regular cabinets. It was the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, so the Talmud is the central text of the rabbinic Judaism. And
I look up this stuff all the time and then I forget it. I can't ever
Yeah.
retain this information because I
Wikipedia
go,
retention memory
it's not
is like
Christian,
Yeah.
so
it's
who cares?
But it is in essence, isn't it? I mean, Christianity
not.
doesn't
No.
all, it all come from this.
No,
No,
Christ came down and said it's bad to be in a religion, and then people go, but that means Christianity, right? It's good.
Have you read the Book of David?
Now has Chris
yeah,
seen
the King
Yeah,
David.
where he's just like
Religulous?
Fucking up demons.
fuck a girl's ass in a bathtub and shit.
No,
It was like a T-Pain music video.
Really?
No, the one there's like some what is the fucking
I love
Yeah, I
T-Pain.
saw her bathing on the roof. You know.
Oh, that's
Hallelujah.
right.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a great song.
Yeah, he wanted to fuck a big tittied bitch in a bathtub.
There's like a book.
I watch his Instagram lives like every week.
King David.
To be
King
honest,
David's. There's like a book where it's just-
King Batch?
King. There's like a book where it
that
just
the
taught you how to
TikTok
kill
star?
demons and shit.
oh god.
Look
hate myself for knowing that.
Isn't the Witch of Endor? Isn't that story in the
I have
in
no
King
idea
David?
what the fuck that is.
If you do believe in the Old Testament, you have to accept dualism. That's the weird thing about Christianity, where I'm like, you guys have to believe in like ghosts and like spirits are real.
Well,
Because
they're
the Witch of Endor,
Satanists.
they summon a spirit.
Well-
When they go to the outskirts of town, there's this witch.
Didn't Jesus like fucking beat the shit out of a guy who was possessed on a shore while like hanging out with Peter and Paul on a boat?
There's a guy who fucked.
He's
a kid.
constantly like fucking like curing, like doing exorcisms and shit.
Well, Christianity is like satanic at the end of the day.
Oh, when he
like,
drove
in
the
its-
You better
spirits out of the
relax.
pigs.
It is.
Okay,
it
you better
is.
relax
Well,
here.
or Satan.
Okay.
I mean, Satanism
You're
is,
outnumbered now.
Satanism is Christian in its essence. So
Satanism's a front
There
for
is no-
real Satanism. The Church of Satan is a
What?
front for real Satanism. The Church of
John's
Satan,
on the money on this one.
Yeah, the Church of Satan is basically a like group of people who are just like it's about individualism,
Yeah, and they
but
go,
it's
it's a
just
joke.
There's
it's a
no
joke.
Church
Yeah,
of
but the
Satan.
actual
There's
true
John's right.
Satanism is happening in the higher echelons of our
Of
government.
course, but that's always
Yeah.
that's just Freemasonry. I mean, like
Yeah.
that's not like it's not like news really.
It
I mean,
encompasses everything. Did you see Marina Abramovich's fucking like installation in the Ukraine?
Still have the Talmud up.
Oh, let's take that down real quick. They
We look like the meme of those three kids podcasting, where they're all sitting on the couch like this. You
I've
know
never
what I'm
seen
talking
it. I know
about?
exactly what you're
And
talking
people
about.
always change the title of the YouTube video, but it's three white kids who are 8, and they're all sitting like this,
It
like
says
doing
Marina
a podcast.
Abramovich's installation in Ukraine. Like the purest form of Satanism is mocking Abrahamic religion, right? Aleister Crowley said that was the most powerful rituals to do as a Satanist.
is what is
Mocking Abrahamic religion. So the most powerful.
because they're all Abrahamic. I mean, they all believe in it. At the end of the day, like Satanists, I think are doing it just
no,
as
Satanists
a,
are fake.
yeah. It's not real. It's like a projection
Yeah.
of their like their own relationship with their Christianity or their lack of it or their rebellion
Well, like-
against it. It's not.
So, like-
it's not really.
The best example I can find is Marina Abramovich made a wall in the Ukraine where it's like a big dark wall and there's crystals in it.
They
And
always do the craziest
They do the
shit.
craziest shit.
Yeah.
There's crystals in the wall that glow, and if you put your head to it, it like people just put their heads to the crystals. And I'm pretty sure the Russians blew it up with a missile strike, which kicks ass.
Yeah.
But she said in her like mission quote about building the installation,
Mission quote.
she was like, "This is a direct, this is a continuation of the Wailing Wall in Israel."
It was a collab with
Which is like one of the most
Balenciaga.
important religious sites for Jewish people. So she's essentially being like, I'm building this dark wall full of crystals that people worship, mocking the Wailing Wall in Israel. Like that's like true Satanism to me.
Mocking the wall in Israel.
Yeah, the Wailing Wall is like for Jews to show up and be like, "Oh, still stand."
Yes, the one where Chris Christie like
Yeah, all the presidents
his
go there
head
and
was
they like
they put their head against it. You know,
He ate Roy Rogers on top of it.
I was about to say an ice cream cone, but
Yeah.
it's he did both.
No,
yeah.
he mashed his tits up against it like a hot girl in a shower in a porn or something.
yeah.
instead of putting notes in it, he just puts a stromboli like.
Van Leeuwen's Salt and Straw. Yeah, he's a
Yeah.
big ice cream head, right? Chris Christie. He's
don't
the shape.
blame
He's
him.
the shape of an ice cream cone.
He's a big something.
He looks
yeah.
like shit.
He's obsessed with Israel now. Suddenly, like that's his big thing now is going to Israel and pretending, like he's been pretty consistent with his support of Israel for
Yeah, he's a Republican.
the last some odd like 15 or so years or whatever. But this delusion, I'm like, why does a guy like that even keep running? I'm like, you're not
because they get money.
He's just fat.
not
He's
just to
fat and
run. Not
he has a
just to
private
run.
beach.
He's
And,
fat and gay.
yeah, he's gay as hell.
It always comes down to that, doesn't it? It really does.
Just like one of those freaks.
Does the
from
Bible
turn of
talk
the
about
century.
that? Does the Bible get down to the brass tacks here and talk about how it
Yeah,
always comes
gluttony's
down?
a sin, buddy.
But that's what's funny is like fat guys didn't even exist back then.
No,
I
everyone
don't
was
think
shredded.
It was being fat's a new sin.
Yeah, fat guys didn't exist until like 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would be shredded if I was if I was like this age in the 80s, dude. It's all the seed oils.
But
that did
you
this
would
to
have
me. It's
found no. You
personal-
would have found a way to be fat.
I'd found a way to
You
be
would have
fat.
found a way to be fat.
I'm eating like 40 Salisbury steaks a night.
Yeah, no. John
Imagine getting
has,
fat off of apples and like legumes and stuff.
if you pray hard
Canned
enough,
food.
and John would pray hard enough. If you pray hard
I'm
enough,
just chugging canned peaches in the background.
he would manifest the fat cells expanding.
Yeah.
Just at a
Back in the day, like fat people were like in carnivals and shit. Like
Yeah, because they had a medical condition.
yeah.
yeah. And your dad wrote Carnival.
Yep. We should all mention it every podcast.
You know what? So it's because I did 40 episodes with you and didn't realize that
You
was
didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
How did I know that?
I found out
I don't
like a few
like telling
months ago.
people that often. It's just
I
so-
You never
literally-
told. Devin told me.
I literally
Yeah, well,
didn't know.
everyone on the Reddit now, or I think it's like fucking the Patreon thinks my dad's like a landlord or
Oh,
some
I know.
shit.
They
It's
think he's like-
insane.
they think he-
my dad has money.
No,
like,
I
it's
know.
nuts.
They think he's like a VC guy because he created a show for HBO like 20 years ago.
My dad will like hit me up for money, and I'm like, sorry, bud. Like,
Yeah, no one knows how things work out here.
Yeah, no one knows how screenwriters.
Like, do you realize
work.
like anybody that pitches a show ever is probably, I'm not saying your dad's mentally ill, but most of the people out here that pitch,
Oh, yeah, he is.
pitch okay, well, you said it, not me. But
I mean, people even think
mentally
I own
ill.
my home. They're
That's
like, Ben has
crazy.
a $3 million house with
yeah,
a
yeah.
pool. I'm like, what?
Oh,
Who do
dude.
you think I
Dude,
am?
You have a pool?
people-
I'm like, I rent.
People think Devin's dad is like Mauricio from The Agency. Like they think that he owns, who's like the biggest realtor in all of LA. Like they think he's some big realtor. They think he like works for Trump or something. They think he has like all these properties sprawling throughout LA. It's like not true
It's
at
a
all.
Dayton, Ohio fantasy people have about us.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah.
Well, they want to think that.
They see a guy in a Starbucks commercial. They think he made like $4 million to be in it, but
Yeah.
he made $400 for the day.
Yeah, and he gets paid 10 cents in residuals every fucking 3 years.
Yeah.
Right, and he's paying $18 a gallon for gas. It's like I mean, I want people to have that delusion about me too, and that's why I connect with George Santos. Is like we want people to have these delusions about us that aren't true. It elevates you in their mind. Like I want people to think that I'm a daughter of a sultan. Why wouldn't I want people to think that? It couldn't be farther from the
I don't
from the
feel
truth.
that way.
I mean,
I'm dying to be understood. I'm like, please, someone understand me.
I don't want to be really.
Yes.
You want to be You want to be like. You want people to get you.
That's
Yeah,
a-
because
that's great.
everything I read about me on the internet, none of it's true ever.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
you're in a much different position because
Yeah,
you've
90
actually had.
you
You
know
have
what-
lore. You have lore.
You know
have
what's
lore.
funny though? Seinfeld had a good quote where he says, "People that read the tabloids deserve to be lied to."
Wow.
That's true, but
Which
they also want to
I
be
know he's
lied
a
to.
cunt, but-
Not only do they deserve
Yeah.
it, they want it. They're seeking deception. Like they're seeking to be lied to. They want it. I think the tabloid shit. I think it's another form of religion. I think it's just like
Yeah.
another form of escapism. Dumas.
Dumas.
It's the LaCroix argument. Which what is it? Is it Dumas?
Dumas.
I really want to learn French. I'm going to learn it because I speak Farsi.
Do you think
so
a
I
guy
should.
who looks like the whale runs Dumas?
Yes, but it's a woman.
But it's the whale.
You're upset. If you want to understand Ben, just watch The
It is a
Whale.
fat woman. A
We-
fat woman does run the
We
page.
joked on Lemon Party if the whale he was a woman instead of a guy, that there'd be a really skinny Mexican guy who's her boyfriend.
That's true.
Like a really like an 80-pound Mexican guy who is like takes care of her. It still makes me laugh so hard.
It's true. Dumas run by a Long Island.
We still need to make the Yoel, by the way. The Yoel.
The Joel.
Yeah,
Like
it's
a
the
Jewish
Jewish
whale.
whale. It's called the
Shema.
the YWHA.
He's having gefilte fish.
Shema
every day.
Israel the whale.
Very good.
Thank
That was a
you.
satanic thing
Thank
you
you.
just did.
Did I?
You mocked the Abrahamic prayer.
I've always wanted to be a Luciferian. I think I would. I think I have the look, and I think I
Yeah.
have
It's just
the
the gayest
mental
thing you could
agility.
be.
Huh?
It's the gayest thing you could be.
Yeah,
What,
that's really
Luciferian?
good.
It's the
That's like
edgiest.
saying you want to be a punk rocker.
Yeah.
Well, I want to hang out with George Santos. Really, what's the difference?
Do you want to worship the flying spaghetti monster?
It's just people wearing leather jackets
That's all
who
it
think
is.
Ricky Gervais is cool.
If I show up at the meeting, it's just gonna be
Yeah.
like a bunch of goth girls and John. And John will be there, hitting on them and
Yeah.
like pretending, taking part of the rituals.
No, never.
You would.
Maybe.
You went to vampire parties. We did an entire episode
I didn't go to
about
a
it.
vampire party.
I
I
know
got
you have
invited to a vampire
I know you have
orgy.
short-term memory loss, but we did an episode about you going to a goth
I went
after
to a
hours
goth. I went to a goth
witch
bar.
house party.
I went to
where
a goth
you-
bar.
Yeah, where you hung out with Tiffy.
Yeah, it was
From
crazy.
Raw Time.
Fuck that shit.
Do you know about Raw Time, Ben?
No, what are you guys talking
We should
about?
do that on the Patreon. Honestly,
should,
It's
we
Raw
should.
Time.
I mean, well, so you're Christian.
Yeah, I'm a Gnostic Christian. I
remember-
I believe in Gnosticism, and I know there is a God, and my God is real.
Would you say
Fuck it.
you're?
And
Would,
also, I don't know if there is a God. Simultaneously, I believe
Wowie
both
zowie.
things.
say that? Okay, so hold on. Let's do a rundown because I want to see if I can. I want to see if I
I'll be right
can
back.
categorize you. Not that anyone should ever try to categorize any of these things, but I want to get like a
Where's
better.
Sean going?
I need to take a piss.
He just does this. He'll
He
just
just
like
leaves?
it's crazy
We-
what they do.
John,
it's
we all
crazy
have
what
to
they
pee.
do. It's crazy what they do
like,
every episode. Dude,
Everybody has to pee who's doing a podcast.
but no,
you can't just leave.
He deserves what we're about to say about him, okay? Because he's pissing, okay? He's pissing on his own grave right now. This is what they do when they record Hate Watch, and I'll be sitting upstairs, you know. Sometimes I'll be upstairs and I want to do like yoga, okay? And I'm like, all right, the boys are recording for a few hours. I got a few hours to do some yoga in my living room. It's not a big space up there. There's not a whole lot of room, okay? And then inevitably Joey or John or somebody comes up to where I'm like, I can't for the life of me wrap my head around the fact that like as an adult in your 20s or 30s, like you can't hold your piss for a few hours while you're doing
They're children.
while you're doing a show.
They're children. Like they would, if you told them they weren't allowed to go
If
pee
I
while
had
they were
to throw
podcasting,
up, I would keep going.
no,
like
they would piss
it's like-
themselves in their chairs if you told them there wasn't a restroom.
I know.
They're like a kid in Blockbuster.
I
who's
know.
like-
Oh, and
he's
look how
just
fast
pissing
he didn't
himself.
even go. He didn't even
I went in
go.
your backyard.
You we have tenants.
This is our most important episode ever. Okay, we got Lemon Party here.
You
Doesn't
heard
wash his hands.
You heard us talking
But
shit.
my penis is the cleanest thing on me.
Doesn't wash his hands. He probably has urine on his hands.
No, dude.
How gross is that?
John,
Come on,
you're
guys,
a walking,
be nice to
you're
me.
a walking venereal disease, dude.
He's probably vaping piss.
Dude.
It's gum.
There's piss and cum in his vape.
Oh my God, John.
I'm fine, dude. I
You
went
knew
back
we were
there.
talking shit and you hurried right back.
I mean, what do you think? He sleeps on a windowsill.
do you think we're gonna
He's like
stop? Do you
he's
think
like
we're
a
gonna stop
falcon.
just because you got back?
I'm like a
Oh, yeah,
hobo
yeah,
in a
yeah,
Looney
yeah.
Tunes cartoon.
Yeah, yeah.
No, there's people taking pictures of John from afar that are bird watching.
Yeah,
They're,
yeah.
look at that peregrine falcon land on John's nose as he sleeps.
I showered before coming here. So
Why did you hurry back? Is it because you knew we were talking shit?
Probably.
And you knew,
I was like,
probably.
these motherfuckers are still talking about me. using
Oh,
the
wow.
toilet.
You didn't even go.
I thought she was about to go really hard on you, and she kind of, I don't know.
Ida's
kind of a
the
softball
toughest
thing.
person in my fucking
She wasn't
life.
tough at all. You're
Dude,
too
Ida
sensitive
will,
if that's
Ida
true.
Will, Ida will shred
He's
me to
so
fucking
sensitive,
pieces.
dude. It's
Because
crazy.
Ida takes my love for her and she runs with it
crazy.
like a fucking. It's crazy.
What are you talking? I run with it. What does that even mean? What kind of accusation is that?
Ida knows I respect her opinion of me.
I don't know that you do, John.
I 100% do.
I don't
How
know
dare
that you do. I really don't know that you do.
You and Devin are like my fucking like.
You've taken
you guys,
you've taken not an iota of either of our advice.
I take
to
so
you
much
at any-
advice from you guys.
That is not true.
It just takes him 2 years to take the
Exactly.
advice.
Yeah.
There's
that's
one
it.
piece of advice you took, which was the Amazon Black Friday, and that's it. You've
I got
taken
an espresso machine,
and I told them to
buy
wait.
An espresso machine.
Wait, did you get the one that we had at our house? Because you liked it so much.
I liked that
I
one a
couldn't
lot, but I
figure
got
it
the newer
out.
one.
While I was sneaking Katie's pecan pie, I tried to make myself an espresso, and I just sat there for like 20 minutes. I couldn't figure it out.
You use that every day?
You were so high. You were so high.
I'm high
Dude,
right
I think it's
now.
fucking
You were
baked.
the Grinch.
I'm the Grinch. I'm
you were
the
on,
Grinch,
you were on
yeah.
the couch like the Grinch.
I was like, I've
You
seen
literally-
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood like 30 times.
It's
I
such a good movie.
I didn't need to see it
You-
again. I did
you-
need another piece of the pie.
This was Ida on Friendsgiving.
Yeah, no, that's oh my god, wow. And I have the lime green lighter.
You have a baby Grinch shirt.
Look. That's the joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
That's phenomenal.
me. That's
Where'd you
me.
buy that?
I made it.
You drew that?
I think I might have made it or something.
Somebody left a package for you.
That's wonderful.
It's just like an undershirt.
Oh, this is
But-
like for
I
you.
love the baby Grinch.
I can't figure out
But
what's.
you turned into baby Grinch.
Well, it was the pie, dude. It was the pie. It was not
So
my
somebody
fault.
sent this
You
to
can
us.
blame
It's the
Katie.
book George Bush was reading while he was giving the
Oh,
when he was
that's
told 9/11 was
awesome.
happening,
That's great.
and then it's like bird food.
That's awesome.
So they definitely this touched someone's penis.
Yeah,
You can leave it here.
So I got to read this to my daughter.
yeah. I don't know what the fuck. I thought
That's
about eating this
awesome.
a couple times.
I forget who sent this, but thank you if they end up hearing this.
Yeah.
And then they sent me
I'll
fudge.
sanitize it. I thought it was a bar
Oh, that
of
fudge
soap.
is long gone.
Oh,
no,
it's-
that's for
it's-
birds.
Yeah, yeah.
dude.
These are for woodpeckers and other birds.
Or for peckerwoods. Just bugs.
I saw the thing at your house though. That
That's
was
nice.
That was a great viewing experience.
what?
The thing kicks
the
ass.
Oh,
thing
the
was so
thing.
good.
Yeah, I showed you the thing on my birthday.
That was your birthday. That's right. It was really, really, really good.
Things like top 10 movies of all time, in my opinion.
Jod, are you a Christian this week? Still, 'Cause we've established that Ben is. I think we should get all of our
Again,
religious.
the opposite of sin is not virtue but faith.
Whatever
And
that-
I
you've
am
said that, like, on here, like,
it just means I
50
can sin
times.
as much as I want, dude.
It's
so-
Yeah,
literally
faith, I
John's
know.
favorite Christian scripture verse.
I just
or
believe
whatever.
Jesus is God. and then I just go from there.
See, I don't believe I know.
So does Kanye.
I think you have to know. I think enough of this like modern. No, I think there's enough of this modern day like faith and belief. That's for people who can't make up their mind.
Okay, I know then.
Like,
I know,
because that's the thing. Like, you actually have to make a choice.
If there's
people go,
strong,
do you believe? And you go, I don't know. Like, no, do you believe or don't you? You either do, you don't.
So like the thing is like if there is a contender for fucking prophet in the Abrahamic religions, Jesus is the guy.
Well, you're conflating do you believe with is it true?
Yes.
There was a historical Christ. This is the thing that kills me about Devin. Is Devin doesn't believe there's a historical Christ. And it drives me but fucking
well. So Devin has like half of his head. There's too much Bill Maher. There's way too much Bill Maher episodes in there, and you guys know I'm right. Where him and Mark have sat up there and smoked weed and watched religion. They watch Religulous, and they're like, Bill Maher's the fucking man, dude. And now they pretend none of that ever happened.
They lived in 2010?
Yeah, that was their personality for a whole year.
You mean they were alive?
10 years.
Yeah, everyone was like that for a while. Yeah, it stuck with them.
They watched The Invention of Lying with Ricky Gervais while smoking pot, and it kind of blew their mind.
Who amongst us hasn't? Who amongst us hasn't? Like, I get it. There's a lot of crossover actually, but I think Bill Maher is our Ricky Gervais in so many ways, and I've said that before. But
what do you mean our Ricky Gervais? Ricky Gervais is our Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais is like
British.
a millennial.
Well,
what? He's not ours.
I think of him as America.
We can listen. They're all interchangeable.
America made him fucking
America
famous.
is the U.S. and the U.S. is America. They're different.
You're
sure,
saying
but
Bill?
They're like different states in a country. People acting like the U.S. and Britain are like, oh, they're so different fundamentally. No, they're really not. We're just like we're the New Testament to their Old Testament, and yes, so there's obviously some fundamental differences. But at the end of the day,
they're
deriving
narcissists, and their personalities based off of being an atheist.
Ricky Gervais is his Golden Globes thing was one of my favorites that I've ever seen. He's also super cringe and corny at times, and it's undeniably bad. But I liked The Office, the first season, the British
Derek
Office
too.
I never saw
Derek
that.
kicked ass.
Where he's it made me cry. Actually.
It was really good.
He played this retard in an old folks home, and he would just walk around and be like, "Man, that guy." And he would watch videos of hamsters playing the piano, and I'd be like, "Oh, this is beautiful." Why am I crying right now?
Did you watch
the last time I cried at a TV show?
He's got a really cute cat. He's good. He's done some really shitty, what is the Ghost of Girlfriend's Past?
I want to see the stuff he makes that's not stand-up, because he wasn't a stand-up. He got into it too late. I want to see the stuff he makes. I don't want to know his opinions about anything.
But the stuff he makes is
and that goes for almost everybody.
Informed by his opinion of things.
Sure, but I don't have to hear it.
That's true.
I want his reflection of truth, not his truth.
I will say this: 6 out of the 10 times I ever see an appearance of him, I'm always kind of like, hey, it's kind of it's a little cringeworthy. But then the other times, I'm just happy that someone's saying what he's saying, and I think Devin kind of feels the same way about Bill Maher, because it's a similar reaction where I'm like, half of the time I can't stand what he says. In fact, right now, I've said this before, I have a parasocial relationship. I think I'm dating Bill Maher because I'm mad at him half the time, and then the other half of the time I like him. And I can't ever, never the two shall meet. I can never figure out where I stand with him. But I know a social media manager. She's very hot.
No, I think Devin sees Bill Maher as an extension of LA. And I think that's why he likes Bill Maher, because he goes, Bill Maher's an asshole who lives in LA, and you see him out, and
but he's not from LA. He's an
LA guy.
Now he is, sure, but that's just because he made it and he did well.
He's
Everyone becomes an LA guy once they make it.
I don't think that's true.
You don't think so? Just by making it, you're an LA guy.
I mean, Zach Galifianakis, I would say, is not an LA guy. He has a place in Venice, but he also has a farm. But you don't see him
fair. Sure,
he doesn't turn into an asshole. He's just.
But then you see people like Sam Elliott, where I'm like, he looks like a cowboy, but he's an LA guy. He's an LA
Sam
guy.
Elliott's a fucking
they're all
cowboy,
kind of
though,
they're all kind of LA guy. Matthew McConaughey, sure, he lives in Texas, but he's also an LA guy.
I don't know about that, dude.
Come on.
Sam Elliott,
you were saying that you didn't believe it, and admit that.
Ben can't really hate on me right now because I'm from Texas too. So
you were saying it, I could tell you didn't even believe it.
No, but it was a good example. It's a good example. He is kind of a Texas guy, but he's gonna run for president. So no, the fuck he's not.
He's not.
He is. He will one day. But first, you know who's running for president first is Mark Cuban before Matthew McConaughey. Imagine the two of them together. No,
I'm so glad I don't care about any of this.
That's what we're in for now. Is this going to be, dude? Cuban just sold most of the Mavericks. He's going for president.
Yeah, this is why I just read like schizophrenic Carl Jung books, and like I read like Moby Dick and stuff.
But Mark
it's
Cuban's
not because I think it makes me smart. I
person.
just find it way more interesting.
Mark Cuban is one of the good ones, but he is one of the good. I've told you.
If Ida like has a pleasant 10 minutes with
It was not just a pleasant 10
Ida
minutes.
could have a pleasant 10 minutes with Adolf Hitler and be like, he's one of the great ones. I served him steak.
I know Mark Cuban lore. I know several people who have had great experiences with him, and I know one of his very good friends from college. He genuinely has a connection in some form or another with every person in Dallas. With every person in Dallas.
Paperweight. Like
every person in Dallas. And you've defended him yourself, John.
When did I defend him?
You're doing your classic flip-floppy shit. You're not committed to a single opinion you have. Please sit down. Please sit down.
I'm already sitting
You do not feel any kind of way about Mark Cuban.
I would like to extract a plank in my own eye.
I'll defend him till the day I die.
Because I have the same obsession with like weird people on the internet, and like that's my Mark Cuban,
like
or
Nick
Bill
Ocado?
Maher. Yeah, like, but also people like I stalk people on Instagram. I have like 80 followers. And like, that's amazing. Like I know what their life's like. I know their home address. I know their phone number. And I know everything about them, and they fascinate me endlessly. And I have a little group text with freaks on Twitter that I've been following their every move for years, and they have no followers. And for some reason, we're just obsessed with them. So I like to extract the plank from my own eye. And say,
you're equating Mark Cuban with people from the freak show that you like.
But here's why. No, I'm equating them with becoming obsessed with someone else's life to like distract you from your own. Like I would say that.
But I don't have a cult of personality around him. I just defend him.
So can I say, this is what I want to kind of get at. Like in the 80s, like there were just like 4 channels. So people go like, yeah, I'm a fan of comedy, I guess. Like this guy's good. Even though he wasn't good. Like weird, like Al Yankovic,
or he was a thief or whatever.
Yakov Smirnoff or whatever. Yeah, I go see Yakov or whatever, right?
Yakov Smirnoff?
So like,
you don't know Yakov Smirnoff?
Is that a real human being?
Yeah. He's like, in Russia, baby, fuck you. And stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, like, you don't have to settle anymore in terms of, so like if the media says like, oh, isn't it crazy Mark Cuban, and like I don't care about any of that. I found a guy that's way more interesting than Mark Cuban, and he has 3 followers.
Yeah.
And he lives in an insane asylum in upstate Wisconsin, and somehow he has Wi-Fi access. And I can't stop watching his videos.
I'll say the shitty thing to counter that. He has no influence, thus he does not matter.
But why is
not that he doesn't matter, but in the grand scheme of things,
but
he doesn't have any real pull. Thus lowering his level of fascination.
So here's what we're getting to.
And I'm not saying that
these guys don't have power.
This is just, this
it's
true.
pure.
They have power.
I'm being Bill Maher right now. Okay?
None of the power matters anymore because the system is irrelevant, and the system has no meanings anymore.
Wow.
It's never had any meaning.
So these people's
had
power.
efficacy because
that's why people don't care about celebrities, and they don't care about any of these fucking people anymore.
Well,
it's like the interest in these people are waning. You have to become more and more insane.
Cult of personality has become like democratized in a way where you can be like Ben and have like a few indie bands or a few indie people rather that you listen to.
Okay.
But like,
have you guys heard poop shit 081?
Well, when you really think about it, Ben's actually not that indie. I mean, Will and Dawn are kind of huge. Like for how much
I blew up Lemon Park.
You kind of
I blew up Yankee in the Sad. Let's be honest.
No, you kind of did.
I kind of put them on the map.
You kind of did, but look what you've done. Like, look how democratized it is. Like, you've created a star.
Yeah, I know.
2 stars.
No, they were doing fine without me, but like I found them on their way up.
Okay.
Like I found them when they were at like 12,000 subs.
Are you proud of that?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Hell yeah.
No,
I was an early patron of Yankee in the South.
I'm proud of being an early George Santos. Like we're all proud of our like early fandom. Like
Richard Cox is our best fan, and he literally everyone follow Richard Cox on Instagram. He is a.
I love Richard Cox.
You know Richard Cox?
Yeah, he donates in the Lemon Party live streams.
Dude, he sent me a blanket. He
literally crocheted John like a blanket.
He's so talented.
Dude, he's amazing. I have his
how cool he
paintings
is.
in my room, and I fucking talked to him for like 4 hours straight.
You talked to him for 4 hours?
Yes, dude.
What was that conversation? Can you?
I was like, what was it?
Recount any of that?
He was like gay in like the 70s.
Yeah, crazy shit.
Yeah,
when being gay was like super insane
and
dangerous. Yeah,
he was gay. He went to Turkey.
To be gay in the 70s means you were like beaten with a bat in Soho.
Exactly.
Yeah,
even if you lived elsewhere.
He's honestly the man. I might visit him like this summer. Like he's the coolest guy of all time.
John has told that to like 80 people. Like, in
I'm
the last
doing a big
month.
summer
I might
trip.
visit you in the summer.
I'm going all over the place, visiting
He's
people.
doing a big tour.
But yeah,
Just doing
Richard,
a tour of the U.S. You're
Yeah.
like, there's a guy in Memphis I think might kill me.
It's like how Marilyn Monroe would
Yeah.
tour like for the troops. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Like,
doing a USO
John
tour.
does his little version.
no, Richard
you know?
Cox. Richard Cox is like
He's
God,
the
a man.
exception.
He's the exception.
He's
yeah.
the exception to the
He's the
rule.
exception.
Great guy.
Absolutely.
He's brilliant.
I thought he was fake, and then like he like called me, and I was like, oh, he sounds like the pedophile from Family Guy.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so fucking
Hubert
funny.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
he's like, hey, you want some popsicles? Exactly.
That guy.
But he's just a funny fucking dude.
Richard is the best. But there's a
Yeah.
lot of great.
He's making you a blanket as we speak.
See, but here's the thing about George Santos though. Since he has
Sound off,
So like
sound
he
off.
has he quote unquote has power, right?
Well, not anymore.
These things were
He's
only
been ousted.
No, I know, but then like the thing was only interesting because there were stakes, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
But there aren't. No, that's the thing. There aren't stakes anymore. It's all no one
He has
cares.
social cachet.
It's like you might as well be
Mark
on
Cuban
a
has no
fake
stakes.
set.
He
There's
has-
no stakes.
You don't think
What's-
there's stakes with social cachet? You don't think having influence or pull or views has any sort of...
Here's the stakes that it's serious literature and serious art. It has to deal with life and death. It can't be of the political. I have no interest in the political.
Well, this has been the death. This
I
has been
wanna
the death
follow
of George
a guy.
Santos.
I might wake up and find out he got death by cop.
Well, he's been.
He did something crazy.
George Santos
That's
got
the stakes
death.
for my guy.
Got death by Congress.
No, he's death
He got
by
proverbial
Twinkies.
death by no, that's life.
He's
been
death by
rebirthed. No,
MSG.
he's been rebirthed for Twinks, but he's died for Congress. He's been no.
No, he's
actually,
not on the verge of like he might kill himself.
Dude, George Santos is so much higher on the astral plane than any one of
No,
us could
dude.
even possibly.
I need a guy-
No, not at all.
fathom.
Who's holding his turd like the way a baby holds a big crown, and he's like drawing swastikas on his wall on TikTok.
But that's George
I need
Santos.
a guy like that because he might pull out a gun on a live stream and just start driving through his hometown, and he might just run into a police station and start firing.
Yeah.
Well, and George.
Way crazier stakes.
No, George, you don't understand the stakes of George Santos. Like he's going to be on like Andy Cohen's show soon.
Who's that?
Oh my God, John, it's you don't even understand. Okay, here's the
The
thing.
media thinks gay people are interesting, and they're just not.
They don't
no one
even
cares that
think he's
Yeah.
that interesting.
If you're gay, you better be like the craziest gay guy. on earth.
Interesting. Okay, to play us out of here, let's just play Ben one episode, like just one little video or soundbite or something of George.
They go, oh, with campaign money, he bought OnlyFans. It's like, okay, well, Trump says he likes like raping people. So
Yeah.
why is this? Trump is like, I love to rape women. And also, Michelle Obama has a big penis. I'm like, yeah, George Santos isn't
Michael.
topping that. He's not as funny as that. So I don't care.
Oh my God, Bowen
What are we
Yang.
playing?
Oh good God. Oh
Do
my
the-
God.
do the him
the
getting
SNL
interrupted.
videos, him getting interrupted. Oh, did you see him
Outside
stealing
the
a baby?
elevator.
Did you see him stealing a baby in
Oh
Congress?
shit! I just pressed the wrong thing. There we go. My
Okay.
bad. My
That's
bad,
so funny.
guys.
Is the
Did you
record-
stop the recording?
I hope
No,
you
it's still
didn't.
going.
Oh my God.
We just had a blackout for a
Top
second.
moments from George Santos' career. This is 3 days ago.
Oh, this is amazing.
He's
Put up or shut up at this point. To set the record straight and put this
Oh,
in the
he's
record,
looking large
I
lately.
will not be resigning.
He looks like he's about to be invited to Willy Wonka's
Okay,
factory.
so first of all, can we just
Young and
pause
had
right off the
fun.
bat?
Of course.
Okay, so right off the bat, already, can I one up you if this is a card game?
Of course.
Because you're laying down a card. You flipped your card. It says George Santos.
By the way,
the
my
river, everything's
card
done.
has not been checked by me in advance. I didn't like.
Now I'm about to flip
This
over
is a
my hand.
random video I showed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he has better moments, but continue.
Okay, now I'm gonna flip over my deck. Okay, and right here I have a Rob Ford, ladies and gentlemen. We have a fat guy who is retarded, who was the mayor of Toronto, who's smoking crack with black people and like saying the N word,
The guy who
and
killed
saying he loves
himself?
to eat pussy, and he killed. I think he just died because he's like.
Did he
he's
die
dead?
from
Very fat.
Did
Yeah,
he
Rob
die-
Ford
Oh,
is.
Fuck,
he's
that
passed.
sucks.
So
I'm
he's-
sorry. R.I.P.
Yeah, he passed away.
Oh,
I'm
that
gonna,
was-
I'm gonna pull a card.
It was a
he was ran
controversial
over by a
death, if I'm
slug
not
bug.
mistaken.
Who was that fucking dude who like painted his face and then shot himself?
Charles Manson.
No, the guy who's real fat and he like made all these crazy videos. He's obsessed with that one fucking celebrity.
What?
Do you know what I'm
He
talking
painted
about?
his face and
He
then
like
shot
painted
himself.
his face and he like shot himself on Instagram Live. Do you know what I'm talking about?
God, never heard of
no.
that.
Fuck, dude.
I think you have dreams and then you just.
Are you talking? I think he's talking about Chris Crocker, but he's alive.
Okay,
No.
but I'll let you continue, Ida.
Yeah.
He's not smoking
Ben
crack.
Ben just did a Kanye. He's like, Beyonce had the one of the best videos. I'm gonna let you finish, like with George Santos, but Beyonce had one of the best videos.
See, because that's
of all
no, but that is
time.
the thing is you're like Taylor Swift is the is my
my Bob Dylan, and you're like Rob Ford doesn't even come close to George
First of all,
Santos.
I would never say that about Taylor Swift.
People say that all the time, that he's like Bob Dylan.
Yeah. White floral fucking dresses in Texas, people that you know, maybe like girls that you know, not me.
Tons of people in LA that are mentally ill think Taylor Swift is God.
Well, yeah.
Everywhere, everybody thinks Taylor Swift is God.
I like Taylor Swift. I have nothing against her. I think she's talented. I don't understand this weird cult of personality around her.
I've had to mute people on Instagram and Twitter because of their love for Taylor Swift.
Can I tell you real quick before we finish with George what my theory of Taylor Swift's fandom is? Like why I think she's so unbelievably massive.
Women are retarded.
Yeah.
That's the that's the underlying, yes, of course. As usual, that's the underlying premise.
Are retarded.
Of course. It's true. It's also, I think, like with globalization, as you know, Ben, as you know, boys, the white girl has been forgotten. The evangelical white girl has been left behind.
No, they wish they were.
No, they have. And because
Ida's right.
girls,
there's a war on the
listen,
white man, and I'll let her speak.
Let me just thank you.
It's being waged by the white woman.
There's a white genocide, and Ida won't stand for it.
There's a cultural white genocide.
Say the words,
There's
Ida.
a cultural, I'll say her name. I'll say her name, Taylor Swift. Yeah, there's a cultural genocide on the white girl, on the evangelical white girl.
Right.
And as I grew up in the suburbs of Texas, and I know very well what that world was. I grew up in it. Like you grow
up,
shake
it off.
Jesus, John, Christ Almighty. No, I'm just saying, like, I grew up with a bunch of white blonde girls, and then eventually their time ended and my time started.
Yeah.
And the rise of the Kardashian. And the Kardashians changed fundamentally the beauty standards of American women. And so the white girl was out.
Yeah.
And then ethnically ambiguous Middle Eastern girls in.
Yeah.
And that's me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, great. Like, this is awesome. So right when I'm coming of age is like when that's becoming a hugely popular thing. And the white girl feels left behind. And there's no artist standing up. Britney Spears, for some time, was the girl next door kind of figure. And then you had other ones. You had Jessica Simpson, Mandy Moore. You had like all these girls that were representing that. And then I'm not joking, Kim Kardashian, like an asteroid, came in and obliterated what all of the white girls had built for so long.
It was hurled by a cosmic Jew.
It was by a cosmic
A cosmic Jew hurled a Kardashian meteorite.
And ironically via Kanye West. So it's like you have this insane shift in what everyone was used to, in Abercrombie and Fitch being the thing, even on the West Coast. Regionally, even if there were changes and fluctuations culturally, the underlying common denomination was always the white evangelical girl. You know, that's why it was okay for like Diane Sawyer to ask Britney Spears, like, why are you showing your belly on the TV? Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
And like there was a shit with that where I'm like, okay, so literally the only good thing that came from the Me Too movement is like old clips of Diane Sawyer, which is basically just woman on woman hatred. Like, why are you showing your belly button on TV? Yeah. There's girls that look up to you. like to me, I'm like, that's like the one good thing where it's like, it shouldn't be okay to ask Britney Spears that. But like,
obviously I have to relate
Taylor
this to
Swift,
a male perspective, everything you're saying. I think you're right how like a man, if he's concerned with like the dying of a white cultural like if he's seeing a white culture death, he gets really into like Fichte and like Hegel and like German idealism and stuff. And then if a woman is concerned about the death of a white, she gets into Taylor Swift.
She gets into Taylor Swift because Taylor Swift
is just a woman's version of reading German idealism for the first time.
Well, what's good about Taylor Swift is she bridges that gap because she's not offensive. She's inoffensive.
Yeah, she's not black.
She's inoffensive politically for the most part. Sure, she might have said something about Donald Trump at one point. She's she's skinny. There's that.
She's fat. She wouldn't be the biggest artist in the world.
Totally right. But these days,
blonde.
you have a cohort of women defending her weight. I mean, they're obsessed with her to the point where like they're looking at her like the way Leonardo da Vinci like looked at that, like as he was drawing like the human being,
the perfect man.
Yeah, with the perfect man. That's how they look at her, and so they're dissecting every part of her, not because they're really even interested in her. They're more just interested in themselves, and she's a vehicle for who they are deep down. and who has like culturally been left behind in service of bolstering people like the Kardashians or you know
They're living through Taylor.
They're living through Taylor because
she's marrying the jock now. Yeah.
Right. Well,
I never got to marry the jock.
I never got to marry the quarterback, and he's a real football player, and he has a podcast.
Taylor is a small bean. Have you seen that video? That TikTok? Taylor was a small bean. She was a small girl.
Yes, I have seen that. That shit spooked me to the point. I had no idea what that was. I still don't understand what the fuck that. Please explain what that was.
Who was with the nerd, and now, ladies, small girl has finally got with the jock, the prom king, the quarterback. Small, and I love small girls.
What is that?
It's just like a 37-year-old woman ironing, saying all these things. It's very
That's
sick.
so unnerving.
And her husband comes home with a football and throws it through her fucking head.
That would be awesome if I saw that.
She has laces like on the side of her face every evening. Just fucking just imprints. So it's just Spalding across her fucking across her cheek because she won't stop talking into the camera about small
that's her
girl.
version of self-flagellation, is just waiting for her husband to pummel her every night. Yeah.
As she watches TV, he looks at her head through a rifle scope.
Yeah. Well,
on the
it's a symbiotic relationship. It's good for the both of them. She gets as much out of it as he does.
Have you seen it? The
no,
small,
I've seen that video.
Girl.
It spooked me to the point
Why
where
would
like
I fucking play it?
because it's horrific. I don't want to subject anybody to that horror.
I wonder if you can find it. It was on TikTok.
But Taylor, I really do think Taylor Swift is a resurgence of the forgotten white girl. I really do. And I don't even say that like with any disrespect. I think she's a good songwriter. I don't mean to discount any of her talent.
Yeah, I think she's fine.
She's not a good vocalist per se, but she's a good songwriter. She can write a lot of tunes.
You probably have to go to Shorts.
Oh.
I saw her concerts when I was a kid. I was a fan of her as a kid. I went to a bunch of her shows. And
I think
two shows.
Go up. What was this? Stitch with Valentine. I wonder if that was it.
Dude, it must
I don't
be.
know.
It
There's
must
no
be
views.
crazy being as famous as she is and having as much of a business mindset as she does.
Probably not it.
Yeah, well, Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
I'll never forget going to Cowboy Stadium, the new one in Arlington, and walking in for her show, and every seat was filled. All of Cowboy Stadium, and at the time, this was the biggest TV in the world. They had just installed the biggest Jerry. Why am I forgetting his name? Jerry.
I don't care about football at all.
You don't know Jerry?
Jerry Jones.
Jerry
Yeah.
Jones. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Jerry Jones had just installed the biggest TV in the world at Cowboy Stadium, and Taylor Swift was one of the first artists to completely sell it out. This was like years ago, and I just was like, this is... Yes, it's a catchy album, but this is astounding. Like the number of people that are here to see this is astounding. So like she obviously has some sort of like cultural magnetism.
Yeah, it's like Triumph of the Will. You're like sitting there. There's like thousands of people in the audience.
Yeah, so I think she's like an homage to some sort of like waspy values that we've lost.
She's a sacrifice of some sort.
Yeah.
She's a Satanist. Yeah.
She's a Satanist. Yeah. No, she's a Maria Abramovich art installation.
She is
wouldn't be
dating
surprised
Mr.
if-
Pfizer. I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Marita Bonvich is like eating her ass cheek right now.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna play Santos to play us out.
Yeah.
Where were we with Santos? What did we do? Small girl. Oh my god. No,
Yeah,
I'm so
Small
happy.
Bean.
small girl finally
His name
got
was
the
Ricardo Lopez, by the way. He's a Bjork stalker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the most amazing thing you'll ever watch in your life.
I've talked about this on Lemon Party before. I've thought about becoming a stalker.
You should, dude.
I just want to
stop.
stalk random people and try to learn as much as I can about their life
has
and
to be a
park
famous
outside their
person.
home.
Kind of like that
Come on.
geolocator guy.
I want
like,
to follow someone home from the grocery store and just see where they live and sit outside their house
I would
all
do
night.
that. I would be interested in that. Like the geolocator guy on TikTok.
Yeah,
Kind of.
Just stalk, and they have no idea someone's stalking them. Isn't that going to be crazy?
Start stalking Logan Paul, dude.
No.
I think you
He's
could get away
boring.
with
I've met him.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
What?
I've met him I was on a podcast
Probably
with
like
Jake
multiple
Paul.
times. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've talked to those guys like multiple. I mean, there's nothing interesting
Really?
about them. They're nice, but like, I mean, everybody's nice. Everyone always meets a guy and they go, "He was so nice." I'm like, yeah, everybody's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, by the way, people with BPD and
crazy mental disorders,
Yeah.
they're usually nicer to strangers than they are to people in their
That's
like
true.
life.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's because they feel guilt over how they treat everybody close to them like
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So then they, treat they're like way over the top
hell.
if they meet someone in public.
Yeah.
And then they never see that person again and they don't think of them as real.
Yeah, and they're
Right.
like, this is
Or
what
human
look at
beings.
me, I'm great.
And it's
Yeah.
all performative. They want them to go then tell people how great they were and stuff.
Exactly.
It's equating like surface level pleasantries with like actual like
Yeah.
a moral compass.
Yeah, there's
which is-
no actual sacrifice there.
No,
there's
none
no
none
emotional sacrifice whatsoever.
Everyone's doing PR for themselves everywhere they go,
That's right.
especially if you're famous. I mean, I'm doing people that are nobodies are doing like I want to kill half the people around me all the time, and I'm instead a lovely angel. And I want them dead, but I can't do anything about it. All I can do is, make myself look and feel better by acting like I don't mind their presence. So imagine someone who's actually famous, who probably despises you, and then they're nice to you. It means nothing.
Yeah, it means
It
absolutely
means nothing. It means less than nothing, actually.
You should be wary of people who are overly nice to strangers. Like if you ever know a guy who's
Right.
way over, that means behind closed doors, you gotta knows what he's doing.
Oh, dude, yeah, no.
he
for
has
sure.
a freezer with limbs in it,
Yeah.
and of like
He's
interns
George-
and
he's
shit.
George
Meat
Santos.
hooks.
He's George
Yeah,
Santos.
it's the Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy.
All right.
He's
this
Leatherface.
is the fucking video. This is the video.
I bet Leatherface was great at tipping.
I just discovered what OnlyFans was about 3 weeks ago when it was brought up in a discussion.
Like, it didn't serve him to lie about OnlyFans, but he did nonetheless. You have to respect that.
Sure. You like Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
Love Chick-fil-A. There's Chick-fil-A in downtown.
Santos.
You just said his job belongs. Given the fact that he's under ethics investigation, he should be sitting in the back row and staying quiet.
I think it's reprehensible that the senator would say such a thing.
I love him.
Wow.
The way he said it wasn't very Mormon of him.
Hell yeah.
McCarthy.
Now I'm gonna have to go and fight to defend myself. The reality is it's a witch hunt. Nobody tells me to do anything.
Classic Trump quote.
I mean, he's a sassy gay guy.
This day,
He's the
and every
anti-theater
day,
gay.
Yeah, he kicks
we give
ass.
credence
That's why he's
to the
great.
dark side of humanity, but strive for a better.
Give credence to the dark side of humanity.
He's a national joke. He's an international joke. But this joke's got to go.
I will not resign. I will be continuing to hold my office elected by the people.
That's right.
If your voters call for you to
42 people asked for me to resign. There's no secrets in this place. It's amazing how you all know what goes on.
I am so proud to be as pro-Israel as they come.
In this building.
Oh my
This
God.
is the same day he stole the baby.
Nerd, dork, whatever you want to call me. I just want to pass legislation that are common sense for our people. They want to send
Good
me
for
home.
him.
If they think
Okay,
this is
whoever
their process, if they think this
Made him
is how it
flashback
should
Mary
be
here
done,
with that powder is not doing him any
Why is he always
favors.
dressed like Angus Young?
God bless
Angus
them.
Young is dressed like him. Anyways, Ben, I know your
I think-
instinct is going to be to hate this guy. I'm telling you,
I think
you're wrong.
straight guys do lunatics better in politics. I think Trump's a better lunatic. I think Rob Ford was a better lunatic. Gay guys, they don't have that extreme within
It just
themselves.
hasn't been their moment yet, though.
Gay
But
guys?
Obama was a drunk lunatic, was a gay lunatic, and he got away with it.
Well, I don't know if Obama was a lunatic.
No. But he is on the inside. Like on the inside, he's
Well, he's gay.
I'm talking about-
he's Patrick Bateman on
I'm
the
talking
inside.
about public. I'm not talking about like psychopaths.
Well, I prefer a level of honesty and I think Santos is that. Like, I think he's being more overt with what he really is versus, and people call him a liar. I'm like, no, he might be a liar to you, but he's actually an embodiment of what you all are like on the inside.
to me, it's a guy he's wearing a mask and he takes
Yeah.
it off and he goes, "Look, everybody, I'm not wearing a mask." And I go, "That's totally another mask right there."
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Does that make
Maybe,
sense? His
yeah.
whole sincerity thing is an insincere shtick.
Well, what was that?
And I think a lot of people
What's
are.
the Nathaniel Hawthorne quote where one can only wear one mask for so long to the self and then one to another mask to the public without finally being bewildered as to which is true? And like that's
Yeah.
the same. That's exactly what all of them are. Like that's why they're all so interesting. Santos, Trump, all of them.
Yeah.
They're all outwardly wearing. But Santos to me is finally where like that conflation is a bit more transparent.
You know what's interesting about that archetype of person is they think people love them.
Yeah.
And then so they start to convince themselves that Because what they were looking for is love, and then they must therefore be the character all the time, and it's this unconscious slip into that where, like, Andrew Dice Clay, like he doesn't actually talk like that, but he did the character, like he literally talks like that off stage. Like that's how sad all these guys are.
Well,
As they look in the mirror, they go, "But who loves me? They love the character." They go, "I'm the character."
Right. Well, love is not a constant in their lives. It only exists when they're being validated outwardly, like through a crowd
but how
or
dumb
an
are you? You
audience.
think that's love? That's not love. Love is what you experience with very, very dear friends.
Right.
You don't experience love from strangers. What are you, 4 years old?
Right.
Grow the fuck up.
I know.
These are strangers in a dark room. I know. They don't love you. They don't love you, you fucking idiot. They're trying to enjoy a night out or they're watching your movie. They don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
You're fodder for the fucking evening. Give a fuck. You dumb fuck. Go find a real fucking friend.
Yeah. No, they'll never do that.
Go find out who you really are.
Well, they can't.
You dumbass. Like, how fucking dumb do you have to be?
Yeah.
Well, they don't have any
it's like
friends.
literally 4-year-old level of intelligence.
Yeah.
And Andrew Dice Clay is like, yeah, I'm actually this fucking guy. You're a fucking, like, how fucking stupid are you? You gotta be so fucking stupid. I mean, seriously, no one talks about it enough how dumb all these fucking people are. It's amazing. It's amazing when there's guys that are at the highest level who aren't that, who just actually love art. Yeah, and they treat the thing as the art form, and they don't. And then they make the thing, and they go, "Yeah, that was great for me. That's what I'm supposed to do.
It's a chunk of me."
Yeah, you don't go. You write a book, and they go, "Oh, everybody loves the book," and you go, "Wow, that means they love me."
Right.
Wow, everybody's at home going, I love you. No, they like the thing you did.
They love a little bit of me.
You fucking retard.
Everything begins and ends with them, though. That's the underlying thing with that. With that archetype. Yeah, it's always without the narcissism, they don't exist. They don't exist if not, like, they can't appreciate craft or
That's
art.
right. They stop existing.
Because if they're not part of the equation, then it doesn't exist at all.
Yeah, they don't engage in any conversation that's not about them.
Right. So they didn't have that foundational love, I guess, so to speak. So rather than like rising above that, which I think maybe some people can in that, like I think some people with personality disorders, maybe there is some hope.
But maybe God fucks up and sometimes he goes, I forgot to put a soul in that one. And it's
right.
They go, it's already going down the conveyor belt. And
it's just a walking grenade for everyone else to have to deal with. Yeah, no, it sucks. It's unfortunate. There's many such cases. There are so many people, especially in this the coastal towns. It's insane. I don't remember meeting anyone like this in Texas.
But I'm perfect.
But you're perfect.
And Ida's perfect. And
I'm
everybody
perfect.
loves her.
I'm a perfect little angel.
Well, John, you have many problems.
I have a fuck ton of problems.
Yeah. But he's from here. There was no saving him. Yeah, he's already from this part of town.
I was born out of the mud like an orc.
Yeah.
You're like a Samuel Beckett, like an abstract Samuel Beckett play. There's one of his called How It Is, and it's the whole novella is a guy who's blind and he's crawling through mud in the darkness.
Yeah, dude.
The whole time, and he's trying to piece together what his life was and how he got here.
Was he fat
he's
and
friends
gay?
with this little worm that just like talks. Its name is Pim.
His name's Devin.
Its name is Pim, and it talks to him.
Yeah.
And he's starting to piece together that his like wife killed herself, and it never is explained how he gets in this darkness, and it's like there's no commas or periods. It's just his stream of consciousness in the dark mud, and that's you.
You're just about to give me a panic attack right now.
I was about to say, please have a panic attack, because that would be such a nice note to end on.
One of the best trilogies I ever read was about 3 months ago. I read Malloy, Malone Dies, and The Unnameable. It's a trilogy he wrote. And he wanted to stop writing like James Joyce, so he read all these books, and he learned French, and he wrote in French.
Yeah.
And then he translated it into English so he could write without influence. And these were the books that ended up winning him. Like, that was the reason he won like the Nobel Prize and stuff. But he ended up writing Waiting for Godot, which is what he's like most known for.
Godot?
Waiting for, I think they say Gato or something.
As in gal?
Yeah.
I don't actually know how to pronounce it. In the play, I think they say Gatto, but then everybody says Waiting for Godot. And then everybody also says Gal Gadot or Gal Godot. I don't know how to say any of this.
She's so stupid. She's so stupid.
All right.
You would love Beckett. It would really fuck you up.
Send me that worm story.
You also
I'm gonna
write
shit
scripts.
Myself. Yeah.
You could literally insult John. You could like say the meanest thing about him, but if you're talking about him, he doesn't mind.
No, this is insane.
Like, he
this is your unhinged female mind.
He literally
I
doesn't
have
care.
feelings. I just like he's an unfeeling like worm, amoeba. In my office.
No. Ben literally said you're a blind guy crawling through the mud, and you had a smile
No, but
on
there's
your face.
philosophy
You had a
behind
smile
that.
on your face.
Well, that's how Beckett probably saw himself to some degree. Like,
no, there's
that's a brilliant
poignancy.
artist.
There's like I that's not an insult to me. It's like, okay, yeah, I may be a blind man walking through just
That's
hell.
for who amongst us
You're
is
crawling
it? We're
through
all,
mud.
We're all
I'm crawling through mud. I mean, I think we
dark
all
and
are
cold.
blind men crawling
Proverbially,
through
we
mud.
all are blind
Yeah.
men crawling through the mud, but some of us see Christ in the end, and some of us, watch Real Time with Bill Maher.
There we
and
go.
That's the difference. All right, guys.
Which I would rather crawl through the mud blind.
I'd rather watch
Than
HBO.
watch Bill Maher.
I'd rather watch HBO. But that's
Yeah,
just
you
me.
would.
That's just me. All right, guys. Thank you guys for being. Thank you to Ben Avery
Thank you, Ben.
from the Lemon Party podcast. I'm like, I should. You're platforming me. I'm not platforming you.
Yeah, everyone
not
listening
true.
to this knows about Lemon
Yeah,
Party.
so what I'm like,
That's not true.
I'm like, what? They're the second guest I've ever had on. I have some Red Scare people in here.
Didn't you have
a few.
Ivy on?
I had Ivy on. Yeah.
Very funny.
All right. Good night, everybody,
night.
and good luck.